What up, though? One Pride. This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, a podcast where one pride goes worldwide. My name is Antony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined this evening by Ryan McCluskey, which can only mean one thing. It is time for your weekly dose of college knowledge. Yes, it is the College Football Podcast season predictions for 2026, and you know what that must mean. The season must be right about the corner, and 17 days time, Ryan, just a mere 2 and a little bit weeks away. Week 0 hits, college football is back, and all is right with the world again. And you know, we start it in true fashion by horribly guessing the outcome of pretty much everything that happens this year.
Yeah, I aim to continue to pick up where I left off in getting everything wrong. I barely got an award right, a title game right, anything in over 5 years. So I wouldn't have it any other way. If I got everything right, then honestly, it just ruined things.
Exactly, it would just show that it is way too predictable, way too formulaic. There is a saying: the more you know, the less you know, and I feel like that goes for college football. The more you know, the less you know. I felt like I got more right when I knew less because I just made simple, educated guesses. Now I generally tend to overthink everything and end up getting it really, really wrong. But as said, we are 2.5 weeks away from the season, and I don't know about you, Rob, but I can't wait. It's, you know, you generally have an inkling coming into a season. You think who's going to compete, who's not going to compete. But, I mean, in doing this, like, if I get my 4 power conference winners right, then we're looking for some insane playoffs this year. I look at the field this year, and I don't see an obvious natty winner. And I do most years, but I struggled for. I still have not done my title game yet. I'm still thinking about it. It feels very open this year with Indiana last year. Everything that happened, teams know that it's not a closed shop anymore. There's 12 seats in the playoff table. You've just got to get a seat and you can win, and it's thrown it all really wide open.
Yeah, I also don't have a national title winner. Like I say, I've got all my championship games, but I'm still working on a playoff bracket. I can't have any certainty right now. Pick 12 teams that would make the playoffs and feel comfortable about it.
I tell you what, I have gone. I have got a very, very brave one in here, which I'm me. I'm emotional with some of my teams and that, but I've gone very, very brave on one this year, and one of our listeners will absolutely love it. Speaking of, shout out to people in the chat. Mile Marker's in the building. He goes, "Howdy guys, I'll be listening while hands are busy." He goes, "Let's go Gophers, Bison, and Golden West College." Absolutely there. Chicken Nugget King is in the building. Hope you're doing well. Don't forget to follow him, another part of our LNU crew, so please support everybody in that. Gavis Concon is in the building, says, "Hey boys, hope you are all doing well. If you've got any questions you want to ask us during the evening about college football, then just let us know. Obviously we'll fit them in as and where we can. I'll just get all the housekeeping bits out the way first. Roar of the Lions UK, you know all about us now. If you want in on the Discord, let us know. We'll fire you across the link for that. Main podcast this week talking about training camp, the injury to Cade Mays, and some other little bit bobs in there. So if you've not checked that out, please do so. And upcoming, we're going to have not Dave, hang on, we've got someone coming on the pod. I've forgotten who. It might be Dave. No, it's Risdon. We've got Jeff Risdon coming on the pod soon. Sorry, Jeff. Apologies, but yeah, that'll be good fun. That's happening next week. And of course, we got a Lions game tomorrow. We've got the pre-season coming up. I believe Matt and Ash are gonna be live for that, calling the plays for you if you don't want to listen to TJ Lang and co on the call. So don't forget to tune in, support the guys for that. They are very good at what they do. We're part of Lions Nation United, as I've already mentioned, so remember that as well. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the socials, yada yada. You know the bill. We've got the feedback form, we've got the store. Yeah, you know the drill by now. So we got all that out the way there. News-wise, don't think there was any news. We're starting to see uniforms coming out now, Ryan. I'm holding some quaint optimism this year that the uniforms seem to be getting better. Tulane have just released their Mardi Gras outfits they're going to be using in week 2, the Oregon green style. They look absolutely amazing, don't they? This is one of the best parts of the season when you get to see the unis coming out, and there's been some good ones revealed so far for the upcoming year.
Yeah, big fan, like I said, the Tulane ones. I like them. Like I say, we've had some interesting combinations coming out. We've got a lot of, like I say, one-offs that are coming out for special games. I'm hoping it's going to be another blockbuster year for these one-off special ones that just won't make an appearance again, especially for the rivalry games. So, yeah, I followed Uniswag. I always follow them this month on Twitter and Instagram in time for jersey drops. And like I say, they're always, like I say, ahead of all the collegiate sports. You get all the best uniform drops.
You do. Georgia released some very nice white threads this week. Very
Look,
reminiscent.
the white strip on the helmet to separate the colours. It just makes it pop.
It does. They look like the old. The first thing I thought of was the old Manchester United kits. They had the white and they had the 2 little stripes across the side. They were one of the lesser used kits by them, but I think Georgia have done absolutely fantastic with those. They look banging. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I don't know when they are doing that. And then the Florida throwbacks are out as well, aren't they? Celebrating the Steve Spurrier 1996 season. They also are. I mean, they also look quite fiery. When are they using them? Are they for the rivalry game, or have they not announced it yet?
I don't know if they've announced. I think they might have announced which month will be in, but I don't know if their opponent.
Okay.
But I'd assume it'll go back to one of the big rivalries being Spurrier. So whoever, it'll definitely be a home game, one of the big games.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think there's a few other little bits around, but we'll go through some of that as we go along. A few other bits of news we want to get through. Do you want to be an offensive coordinator for a drive? If so, go get yourself a season ticket for the Akron Zips, because they have advertised out their opening drive. I believe they're playing Robert Morris at home, and if you buy a season ticket, you get entered into a draw to be able to call the entire first offensive drive as you see fit. I mean, that, and I think a lot of people have got involved in this, right? John Gruden got himself a ticket. That would actually be quite funny if John Gruden won it. But I mean, you know, it's against FCF's opposition. You're probably going to win it. I mean, I guess it's a fun little thing for the season ticket holders there. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what someone comes up with, right? I know I'm really putting you on the spot here, but if you were theoretically to win this thing and you were to get it, do you know what sort of drive you'd call if you had the reins of the Akron offense for one drive?
Yeah, I'd call something stupid. First play would be like a fake jet sweep, and it'd be a Statue of Liberty. Fake pass, QB reaches behind the hand, like say the back goes around the back, takes it end around, and hopefully takes it for large yardage.
Oh, I like that call. Just.
And then I'll get to that midfield, and then hook and ladder.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pitch it up to the tight end, and then, like you say, have him offload it, and then at the end, I'm going to go for something like a trick play, like say maybe like the Philly special. I'm going to spread the wide receiver out, fall back under centre, like say have a QB lined up wide receiver. And yeah, call it trick play. So it's going to end in a fumble or an interception.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Just basically an entire drive of trick plays is what you're saying. Just like, you know, stumble bum.
Well, if we get fourth down,
ladder and...
it's going to be a fake.
Fake punt.
I'm going to let the punt do whatever he wants.
do the old
fake field goal. Yeah, fake field goal. Like say if we're getting a field goal range, like you say, then yeah, I'm going to have him snap it back and do a flea flicker.
Oh, there you go. I love it. I'm so looking forward to it. I think someone's definitely going to... You're not just going to call, like, run up the middle, are you? Like, or something like that. You're going to do something fun if you've got the reins for one drive. I wonder how they'll do it. Like, will they be on the sideline with the headphones, or... I'm
guessing they'll let him probably come into the offensive coordinator's room probably maybe a week or two in advance and probably script, like, all the 10 players out.
Yeah.
If you turn it over on play 3, you probably he drives over.
The,
But the
the,
Fox say like you get this many players to score.
the winner is Stoner Callians coming onto the sideline in his little thing there. But I think, as far as I'm aware, it's doing numbers for the Akron season tickets. So if anything, they should get a pretty good crowd on the day. I don't know when they're announcing it, but yeah, Akron have mortgaged out their first drive of their opening game against Robert Morris, and I cannot wait to see. Question for the chat: what play would you call if you had charge of Akron's drive? I want to see what.
Players.
No, just
You
offensive
definitely
plays.
the first offensive
Just
drive.
it's offensive plays, yeah, not defensive plays. So no, they're doing.
That'd be more fun because I just blitz. I just send the house.
Oh yeah, I would. I'd have
I'd put all 9 men on the line of scrimmage, leave the safeties wide open, and I'd send everybody on, and I'd send my backers on stunts.
Yeah, I'd be doing the whole Blitzberg thing. I'd have my star linebacker in. I'd be blitzing.
My corner's gonna blitz out of nowhere, and I'm gonna make him run 30 yards.
Yeah, I'm playing the Pittsburgh Panthers defense if I get the opportunity to do that. I'm just playing out their play, but like everything's
Got
gonna
my nose
be.
tackle into coverage, and then let the linebacker come through the middle.
It's going to be a sack or a 40-yard play, either or, no in between. Like we're just going for it. I'd absolutely love that. But it is a fun idea. Maybe a few other teams should do that for the non-cons when it doesn't.
It works for bad
quite
teams.
really matter. Yeah, I mean, Akron 5-win team last year. You know, I was thinking about it when thinking about my MAC title game. You know,
Even if it goes wrong, they should win the game.
Yeah.
And if you don't win the game, well, you're not going to be a very popular fan.
No, you're not at all. You're right. But we'll see. That'll be happening. I think they're playing in week 1, so it'll be in about 3 weeks' time, but it'll be a fun thing to keep an eye on. Then the only other sort of news that has dropped that we're going to chat about, very quickly, USC Notre Dame have renewed their rivalry. It's going to start again in 2030, the jeweled shillelagh. They're going to be meeting in week 1 both years as well, which is going to be quite fun. A big game to start off the season there. And obviously the shillelagh ride, big fixture. Good that it's only going to take a couple of year break and they'll get back to it.
Yeah, I wish it was coming back soon, but it's a great rivalry that it shouldn't have ended. It was a war crime that they even pulled the plug on it. Yeah. So I'm glad it's coming back, and it'll be great week 1 as well. That'll sell like hotcakes.
It will indeed. And then the coaches poll has been released for the top 25 for the season. Just quickly going through it. 25, Missouri sneaking in there. 24, you've got Houston. 23, Clemson. 22, Iowa. 21, Utah. 20 SMU, 19 Washington, 18 Tennessee, 17 Penn State, 16 Michigan in those bottom 10. I feel like Iowa get put in here de facto every year, right? But Tennessee, Washington, I think a few teams are getting some undeserved love in this first part of the top 25.
I'm a big DeMond Williams guy, and I saw someone's like Big Ten QB rankings yesterday. It really upset me. But I'm not high on Washington.
No.
But I think DeMond Williams is one of the best QBs in the Big Ten, and ain't getting no love. But like I said, I couldn't have them that high.
No, I couldn't either. They got to prove it first. They got to prove it to get it. It's like Iowa. They got to prove it to be able to get these rankings no more because they've just not won a big ranked fixture in so long. BYU at 15, USC at 14, LSU at 13, Texas Tech at 12, Bama at 11, Ole Miss at 10, Oklahoma at 9, TAMU at 8, Miami of Florida at 7, and Indiana, reigning Natty champions, only coming in at 6, but a bit of domination from the SEC between 6 and 15. It's dropped off a little bit, the SEC ride. Not as, people are not as high on them this year. They've got a lot to prove, the conference does, as a whole there. Indiana, I guess people can understand the skepticism as to why they won't be top 5. It's going to be hard for them to repeat, but feels like they have been a little hard done to as well.
Yeah, like I say. I mean, Texas Tech at 12 now. But I think they'll be a long way off come the final AP poll. I think they'll drop off massively. Just ain't a Will Hammond guy.
No.
I've seen enough from a small service, like you say, where I lack confidence in him.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he can lead that team. There's going to have to be some real heavy sledding on the defensive side of the ball and running it if that team wants to get back anywhere it needs to be.
Yeah.
He got, yeah, he has got a lot to prove to me. So 12 for me is too rich there. I mean, I like USC. I think they're probably fairly ranked. LSU. I mean, it's interesting to see LSU fairly low, despite being like say another team that's like say all-star portals. That tells me there's a lot of skepticism about how they're going to get on with Lane and how like say people don't trust Levitt.
Yeah.
So I kind of get the skepticism there, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I can understand that one for sure because they've been underachieving for a while now. So I think I do understand that. But then in your top five, at number 5 you've got Notre Dame. At 4 you've got Texas. At 3 you've got Georgia. At 2 you've got Oregon. And ranked at number 1, the coaches poll for the top 25 for this season is Ohio State. And I am really struggling to get on this love with Notre Dame this year. CJ Carr is now favourite for the Heisman.
I've got the Heisman odds right now. I'm looking at them, and yeah,
He's joint favourite, but he's
8-1 on most websites for the Heisman.
He's considered to be favourite for it now, but obviously missed the playoffs last year. Do bring a big bit of the team back, and they've had a really good transfer portal. But again, they've had some really bad losses the last few years. I feel like if you're pinging teams like LSU and that for, a bit of inconsistency. I know they went to the title game a few years ago, but I'm just not on board with it just yet. I'm not on board with him just yet.
No, I think a lot of his offensive line is doing a lot of heavy carrying there because it is elite, and there are some future first round NFL draft picks on it for Notre Dame. So yeah, I'm not on the CJ Carr yet, but he's definitely room to win me over.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, like, say, further down his Heisman list, and there's much better potential to make some money.
There is, yeah. I don't know. I just feel like this could be the year when a QB doesn't win it. I do feel like, there are so many QBs who could win it. I'm just not sold on any of them yet. So I feel like a skill position player outside of QB could win it this year. But
there's only 2 skill positions that are less than 50-1.
That'll be tight end and less than 50-1. Sorry.
Yeah, there's only 2 in the top 20 prospects.
Jeremiah Smith will be in that, I imagine.
Malachi Tony.
Yeah,
Malachi Tony at 40-1, and you can have Jeremiah Smith at 15-1.
You've got to assume if he hadn't have been shot that Ahmad Hardy would probably be in there as a running back option. So. But but as we say, we'll see what the odds do as the season goes on. A snap has not been played yet, and as you can see,
Ahmad Hardy 100-1, Keywan Lacey 125-1. I'd be putting a 10.
I'd take that. I'd take the Keywan Lacey odds. He absolute jackhammer for Old Miss last year. Chambliss is probably going to be a little, I say, better. He was really good last year, but he's got a year under his belt now, so he's probably going to be even better. So he might get a few less carries, but I don't know. I quite fancy the odds on that Fibby there. Keywan Lacey to win the Heisman. That would be fun. Right, I think that was about everything news-wise. Oh, another kind of little bit of news. DeAndre Hopkins is now, even though he's still an active NFL player, or he says he is now a wide receivers coach at Georgia Tech. I don't know how that's going to work if he's still playing in the NFL, but coup for Georgia Tech there to be able to get someone of his stature and to train up their receivers. Part of a very competitive group of teams in the ACC this year. Will remain to be seen whether he actually comes back to play in the NFL or not, but he has taken on a wide receiver coach job there for the time being. Right, we're going to leave it at that for now. Depending on how long the predictions do, we might get back into some more news and bits later. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same as we did last year. So as I say, this is going to be the predictions for everything. So it's the championship games. Obviously, we have the Pac-12 included this year. which we didn't have last year. And then we do all the positional ones, the Davy O'Brien for quarterback, the Doak Walker, the Biletnikov, the John Mackey, the Outland, the Bednarik, the Nagurski, the Dick Butkus, the Jim Thorpe, the Lou Groza, the George Munger, and the Heisman. Then we look for statistical leaders, so who's just going to get the most in the FBS, passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, total touchdowns, sacks, and interceptions. And then we try and come up with our 12-man playoff pools before choosing 2 of those teams to get to our natty, before choosing one of those teams to be our winner. And I will show you our ones from last year just to kind of show you what this looks like, and we'll, as we go along, I'll keep moving the screen so you can see some of the bits we've made. But where are we? Just left monitor capture here. And you can see these were our 2025 predictions. So this is how we're going to go. So as I say, we'll start with the championship games, work our way down through the positional groups, through the statistical groups, and finish off with the playoff teams, the natty teams, and the natty winners. So this is kind of what it's going to look like when it's done. And yeah, boy, we look through some of these from last year, and immediately some of the ones that jump off. Mackie Hughes winning the Doak Walker, and he didn't even start on his own team and got transferred. It was, yeah, there was some tough ones. But as we go through our predictions for this year, we'll go through the predictions for last year as well, and see whether we got any right. I mean, looking at that, sheesh, I had Penn State and USC in the Big Ten title game. Iowa State and Baylor in the Big 12 title game. Good Lord. UTEP and FIU in the CUSA championship game. You were a little more sensible than me, right? But yeah, we struggled with that one. But we'll do our ones for that as well. So let us go into the 2026 one. So here we are. We have a new blank slate for this season, and we're going to fill it in, and then we're just going to switch between. Then I'll keep coming back to our screen so I can check on the comments and bits like that. So are we ready to do this, or are we ready to be really, really wrong again?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Okie dokie. Right, first up, we are going to be taking a look at the Conference USA Championship game, and just while I quickly get the standings up. So, team-wise, we have a 10-team league this year. We managed to get a preview done on some of them, not all of them, unfortunately. But let me just go through who we've got in. So we've got Delaware, Florida International, Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, Liberty, Middle Tennessee, Missouri State, New Mexico State, Sam Houston, and Western Kentucky. So, without further ado, Rye, who are your 2 picks for the Conference USA title game, and who do you have winning it?
I have got Western Kentucky, who will take down New Mexico State. I think the New Mexico State continue to build on recent years, had a tremendous season, but I think the consistency, like say the stellar quarterback play from Western Kentucky, bringing back their weapons, they will just have too much for them. They've been offensive powerhouse for years. They'll keep down we've got another year of a quarterback now that hopefully will keep down the turnover every plays while also making a large splash plays. I think they'll have too much for the conference this year and will go on to win it with their big dink and dunk fashion play styles.
Well, we have consensus on the very first pick, and we don't often have consensus here. So I have Western Kentucky also winning it, but I have them winning them, and I'm double downing on this thing. I've got Florida International making the title game. Now, you all know how much I love my Panthers. I had them losing to UTEP last year, but I think with some of these teams, you recognise they're going to be good teams, but they're going to take time. And obviously last year was year 1 of Willie Simmons and his job there, and what a fantastic job that he did with them to get them to a winning season. But it's a case of they got JJ Cole coming in this year. I think that passing attack's going to be good. They've got to replace some of the secondary, but he just knows how to win games. They've got a decent schedule this year, so I can see them finally making that breakthrough to a title game. But as Ryan said, Western Kentucky, this is under Helton, they've come close. They've not won. Most years they come up against a team where they are just sort of outmuscled in the trenches, but the trench warfare has been getting better in recent years. The run game has been picking up with them, and it just kind of feels like, and this goes to the same for a few of the teams I've got winning here, the coach needs a win right. Like, he's got a lot of 8-9 win seasons, but he's not won a championship, and eventually, as good as it is winning 8 and 9 games all the time, you've got to start converting that into championship wins, and it kind of just feels like this is the time where he needs one. Otherwise, you're like, okay, maybe we've hit a ceiling with him.
Yeah, I think, like you say, they've set the bar, they've reached the bar, and at some point you've got to surpass the bar. Like you say, you have to take it to the next step and prove that in crunch time, when the lights are the brightest, that you can get it done. You don't always want to be Cinderella that's losing the glass slipper. You want to get to the ball, and you want to get there, and you want to be top dogs. So yeah, it would be a crucial make or break season for them to do that.
It would be. So we've both got Western Kentucky winning against different opponents. So we've got Sanchez's New Mexico State and Simmons's Florida International. But we are thinking along the same lines. Looking back to what happened last year, you had Western Kentucky winning it last year as well against Liberty, and I had UTEP winning it against Florida International, but it was actually Kennesaw State who took home the title against Jacksonville State, so that was a straight red line across the field from us there. Nothing correct on that one. Right, we're going to move over into the Sun Belt. Obviously, the Sun Belt has changed a little this year. Texas State have gone, Louisiana Tech have come in, and just a reminder that we have conferences, so we've got to be careful who we choose here. So in the Sun Belt East, you've got Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Coastal Carolina, Marshall, James Madison, Old Dominion, and Appalachian State. And then in the West, you've got Louisiana, Louisiana Tech, Louisiana Monroe, Troy, Southern Miss, Arkansas State, and South Alabama. So, Rye, seems to have been very easy to guess this one over the last few years, but are we going to take the low-hanging fruit with a new head coach, or is someone else in there? Who's making your Sunbelt title game?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And like I said, I don't see the superiority changing anytime soon. The James Madison will return, the Trojans will return, and we will get the same outcome as last year. Offense will overcome defense, and the Dukes will take home the Sun Belt again.
So
a lot's changed, but I don't think that much changed.
You have gone for the low hanging fruit. You've got James Madison against Troy, with James Madison winning it. Obviously now with Billy Napier back there, he's obviously destroyed the Sun Belt in his time with Louisiana. Done well, knows what he's doing, got a good core to work around. And then Troy are always up there. Bounce back year for them last year. Probably over exceeded expectations, but I can 100% see that one happening. I'm taking the road a little less travelled because I think Napier's going to take a little bit of time to get back into his groove at James Madison, and they've lost a lot. 14 players have followed Chesney to UCLA. A whole other host of guys have, ineligibility, other transfers, etc. So I have gone a different route. I have Marshall returning to their 2024 seat when they won with Charles Huff, and they're going to win this entire thing, and they're going to do it against Butch Jones and Arkansas State. And the Butch Jones train is one of those where I've been on it a long time now, and I've believed in the vision of what he's done there, and he's turned the Red Wolves into a very good program that can win games. Now they've just lacked the consistency to make it to the top of the table, but I think they're in year 6 now, or 5. Obviously they've lost a quarterback, they've got to replace him, but there's a lot of that team who's coming back. Defensive wise, they're coming back as well, so I don't know. I feel like they can take that Troy team down. Troy's still working with that double rotation at quarterback, which is it's always a bit the instability is always a bit there. I think they can take them down. Marshall this year, obviously, Carlos Del Rio Wilson at quarterback. They've got a good quarterback there, but they love to run the football. They're returning 4 of their 5 offensive line starters. They're going to run the ball really well. They've got better passing weapons. They've got a good quarterback there, and they've got a really good defense. If I remember rightly, it's one of the best third down defenses in the entire country, which they've also returned a good chunk of. So I don't know. I think it could be Marshall, the Thunder in Herd's time to get back this year, but they'll do it against a very plucky Butch Jones Arkansas State side. I hope this is the year that they finally do their breakthrough. As in terms to last year, as Ryan mentioned, it was James Madison Troy final, and James Madison blew that one out, and you did get that right, or you got the winner right. So you had them playing Texas State, which is fine. I had Georgia Southern beating Arkansas State, and I'm trying to remember what my justification for that was. Probably because I thought Georgia Southern were going to turn a corner last year, but they didn't. They regressed big time, and yeah, we weren't able to get over the corner with that one. Moving on, I'll do this third one, then I'll quickly go back and make sure I'm not missing any comments. And we've got the Mountain West, and obviously, right, the Mountain West this year is going to be different. A lot of changes. The new Pac-12 has rinsed it of talent. We've got UTEP and Northern Illinois coming in. So we've got New Mexico, we've got Northern Illinois, we've got North Dakota State, the Bison, we've got Nevada, we've got UTEP, we've got UNLV, we've got Hawaii, we've got Air Force, we've got Wyoming, and we've got San Jose State. And out of all the group conferences, apart from the American, I found this incredibly hard because there's obviously a bit of a power void now, and there were a lot of teams on the edge who were about to break into that void, and it feels wide open this year. Figure Air Force are ready for a rebound. Wyoming are due for a rebound. You've got a lot of plucky guys like New Mexico and Hawaii on the periphery. You've got North Dakota State entering the chat. I found this one very tough. Who have you got being kings of the mountain this year?
Alright, so I've got Hawaii making the NAC title game this year. I'm a believer in their quarterback, their weapons, their great coaches. I think this is the year they're going to capitalise. It's all going to come together. Unfortunately, they will finish runner-up and collect the silver medal, and they will fall to the UNLV Rebels. They're bringing back their biggest playmakers. Dan Mullen right now is on a tear. They just brought in a great transfer portal quarterback with a big chip on his shoulder, looking to prove that he's still got it. He's been forgot by many, and that feels like the perfect storm for them to defend their title. But yeah, I think this would be a great offensive spread shootout, and I'd love to see this matchup here. But yeah, I think the Rainbow Warriors are going to take the next step and be title contenders this year, which would be great to see. But I just don't think they'll have enough against that star-studded roster.
I mean, me and Ryan do this independent of one another. We don't, we are independent free thinkers on here. My title game, UNLV versus Hawaii. And I've got UNLV working the chip as well. Obviously, we've both been very much on this Timmy Chang train for the last 4 years, and the job he's done has been nothing short of amazing. Like you said, we've got a really good quarterback coming back in Mika Aliardo. Yes, he's undersized. They've got to protect him. He had a couple of injury issues last year, which didn't help. But he is probably the best quarterback in the conference as of now. Jackson Arnold could surpass him if he gets some game time reps and starts playing well, but he's probably the best quarterback going. You've got Pefele Ashlock, one of the best receivers in the conference. You've got a whole clutch of homegrown stars on that Hawaii team, which just don't get rinsed by the portal anymore. And I'm with you. I think this is the year where they take that step. They are very good on the islands. They've just got to get a little better away from home. But if they can get on the road better, run the football a little more, control the clock a little better, I think they've got a chance. But with Boise State gone, with a couple of the big higher hitters, this is now their opportunity to get there. The only other team I did consider for this was New Mexico. I think Jason Eck and crew will be around, but they have lost a lot of players this year, so I'm not sure how well they'll turn it, but I like that, right? We are on the same train, but it does feel like UNLV's time. 3 times in a row they've lost to Boise. They have to do it now, right? Because you've got to take control of this new look Mountain West, and they should be unopposed at the end of the day.
Yeah, it feels like they're the next team to take over the mantle of the powerhouse of this conference. The funding's not going to dry up anytime soon. Dan Mullen has shown that he's got a knack for recruiting guys out of the portal. They've got huge pull when it comes to getting these lesser appreciated guys that want to come here. Great facilities, they're well supported, and they've got a team of, like I say, potential superstars that some are absolute skill key positions. So yeah, they should light up the Mountain West again this year.
Yeah, and as for North Dakota, I think they're going to do well. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for them. I think the big thing is they're coming up with a new quarterback. If Cole Payton would have still been there this year, and Bryce Lance, obviously you've lost that. It feels like they've just lost a few too many skilled players to be championship guys this year, and I'm not sure if they're eligible. But I think sooner rather than later they'll be near the top.
I don't think they'd be eligible.
No,
No.
I'm not sure.
I think they'll be well off the pace.
Yeah, they'll take some time. I'm not sure who the new guy is there. They usually build them in-house, don't they? They've usually been there 2 or 3 years before they start playing, so that's why they're always quite old when they come out. But they have a system, it works, but they will upset a lot of teams, for sure. Going to the Fargo Dome is not going to be easy. They'll probably have an unbeaten home record. It's just how they do on the road and how the run game does. So, but teams need time to adapt, some quicker than others, but we will see with them. In terms of last year's, we both had Boise State winning it, so, good for us there. Oh, Lord, hang on. Just got to get our screen back on. So we both had Boise winning it against different opponents. You had them against UNLV, so you actually got the sweep. There, you got both correct. I had them playing San Jose State, but I still got them. So you've had 2 winners in a row there. Right, we're going to move on to the MAC now. And the MAC is just traditionally absolutely impossible to predict because it's the MAC. It's the nature of the MAC. It's one of those where what happens one year means nothing the next year. It feels more than any like there's no rhyme, there's no reason, there's no favourites. It just feels like you can go from being top to bottom really quickly. Like Northern Illinois a few years ago, won it, then finished bottom, and it's just all over the place. But obviously we have Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Miami of Ohio, Bowling Green, Ball State, Buffalo, Toledo, Kent State, UMass, Ohio, Sacramento State, Akron, and Western Michigan. Just to note that Sacramento State are not eligible for the title game this year, so we cannot put them in that conversation. Although media polls had them finishing second bottom in front of only UMass, so people don't fancy them. But for me, right, this is a complete and utter, throw a dart at a wall type thing. The MAC is the Wild West, and up is down, down is up, and nothing makes sense here. And, it feels like kind of anyone in this group can win it. Toledo, new head coach this year, couple of the favourites, Miami of Ohio, and that just, lost big players, quarterbacks, etc. Western Michigan are the reigning champions here. Do they make it back for you, or does the MAC swallow them up and someone new rise to the fore?
I've got no reason to believe that anything's going to change this year. I mean, I've got Western Michigan defending their title. They're returning the offensive player of the year in Brock Lowry, their quarterback. Like I say, they've got some of the best players. They've got a dynamic tight end that's one of his favourite targets. Skilled players all over the position. A good defence. And like I say, there's been very little or minimal roster turnover, so a lot of them are coming back. I have them taking down Ohio in the championship this year. Like I say, I've been a big fan of the Bobcats in recent years. They're always there or thereabouts. They're always a stern contender in what is a very competitive MAC. And I think they will have a good season. and it will be an absolute dogfight going right through to, like say, week 12 for that final berth to make their way in there. But yeah, I think Western Michigan should just have too much for them, too much returning talent. Like I say, the coaching staff have done very well. They've got to the top of the mountain, and it's going to take a very good team to unseat them. But I just don't see it being this year with the continuity that's coming back.
Yeah, and it is rare that you get continuity in the MAC. Usually the teams get raided, but they are returning a lot of their better players this year, so I can understand certainly the thinking behind that. I do believe, though, MACtion is unpredictable and a lot can change in a short area of time, and I've gone a little bit of a different route here. So my MAC championship game is Central Michigan. I've got the Chippewas winning the entire thing this year against the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Now, Central Michigan obviously had a much better season last year. They were buzzing in and about the top of that group until the last couple of weeks when they ultimately faded off at the end. But this is another team that have been solidly building a foundation under a head coach who's been able to maintain a little bit of stability at a team in a conference where it's really difficult to do so. And it just, you look at the Chippewas, they've got a decent run game in there. They should have the passes and the skill players available to put some good points up on the board, and a defense that can help on its day carry them to wins. And obviously coming up against Miami of Ohio, they've been 3 years in a row. It would be devastating for them to make it 4 years in a row and lose, but the team is good. It's not complete. It is dealing with quarterback turnover, which is not going to be the easiest for it. Could work for or against. Again, the MAC is a very unpredictable beast. But yeah, I have the Chippewas doing it this year. So we've both got Michigan teams. Obviously, I would love to put the Crate Train in there, but 3 straight losing seasons in a row. The Crate Train is on hold right now. We're going to have to wait and see what happens with that one. But did you fancy putting a wild card in here? I looked at Akron and Kent State and I'm like, maybe. The thought tickled me a little bit, but I don't know if they're
an outstanding offensive year and just explodes. Like you say, the unpredictability could well carry in their favour, but I passed just.
Yeah, I did just as well. I thought that hopefully they can get to bowl eligibility this year, both of them, and then maybe this time next year we're talking about teams that can go on and win it. In terms of last year, we got it really wrong. We had the same title game. We had a Toledo and Buffalo title game. You had Toledo winning, I had Buffalo winning. Unfortunately, neither did. Buffalo just were rank last year. The amount of talent on that team, that was one of the most disappointing teams in the entire country. And obviously Toledo under Kendall still good, but it was a really packed group at the top of the MAC, and they just missed out. But yeah, we both got that one wrong. Buffalo did us dirty for absolute sure. Right, we're going to move on, and then we're going to move to the first. Oh no, not the first ever time, but back to the pack. We have done the pack before, but it was very different compared to what it has been in recent years. And obviously it's kind of like a Mountain West light now. And obviously it's not a Pac-12 just yet. But they are going to have a championship game. This is the inaugural season of it all. Teams, we have Washington State. Oh, they're all states, so I'm just going to list the states off. Washington, Utah, Texas, San Diego, Oregon, Boise, Colorado. So yeah, we got. They're all the state versions of those. But obviously everyone is eligible this year. It's a new conference. All the teams are new, but the division is new, so everybody is up for it. Obviously Boise coming in after winning the Mountain West for years in a row now, absolutely dominating the hell out of that. Is history going to repeat itself, right? Or is someone different going to take the throne? Who do you have for your inaugural Pac-12 championship game and first new iteration Pac-12 winner?
I I'm going off a Maverick. I'm not going for any of the favourites. Now, I do have Boise State making their inaugural Pac-12 title game, obviously led by what's that? Got a Gain. You've still got Maddox Madsen. You've still got leaders all over that team. You've still got one of the best coaches in the country, in Spencer Danielson. So they come in with some serious pedigree. I have them making the title game. By having them, I'm going to cause a big upset, and I'm going to say San Diego State takes the first Pac-12 inaugural championship. Like I say, Jaden Denegal struggled last year. It was a mediocre season, but I believe that he has got the talent, like I say, to put it right this season. And they have got Lucky Sutton, one of the best, most underrated running backs in the country. There was absolutely a barnstormer last year, had an incredible season for him, and it would not surprise me at all if he comes up here, like I say, does it again, and helps lead that team to one of the most unlikely of debut title wins in what could be in a recent back to G5 history. So yeah, I think it's going to be super competitive, but I have them just sneaking a title berth in and then causing a huge upset on the biggest stage.
All right, so you have that. I also have Boise State making the title game, but I also have them losing. I have Fresno State winning the inaugural Pac-12 championship game. Now, it's very difficult. It's a new conference. Obviously it's the same team sort of in there, but you've got a little sprinkle in. And when I remember Pac-12 football, especially from its last few years, defensive football always used to win the Pac-12. You think those Utah teams under Kyle Whittingham, like the offenses were decent, but the defenses were what won them those titles. And I'm looking through all these teams, seeing who's sporting the best defense out of them all. A lot have been gutted. A lot play air raid like Washington State, where defense is a kind of optional thing because they put up so many points. And Fresno State, for me, have the most settled and balanced team of the two for now in terms of a whole defense. Boise have more splash players on their defense, but Fresno have a better overall starting 11 for me. And plus, they've got a good passing attack. They've got good coaching here. I think it's a case of they've just got a little bit more in the tank than Boise right now. Maddox Madsen, I know you're not exactly the most high on him. Neither am I. Obviously, you've got Sayer Gaines. You've got a good running back room there, but it's about the receivers. They've lost those. The offensive line, obviously, Cage Casey's gone. They've lost a couple of other pieces there as well. Are they going to keep Maddox Madsen upright? That is the question. Fresno State have one of the defenses that could challenge them at the line of scrimmage. And I fancy them just to win it in a tight one. But I do have Boise reaching the target. But yeah, same lines as you. I think defense is going to win that conference because that's generally what happens. And there was not a Pac-12 last year, so this is one of the ones we couldn't get wrong because we didn't make a prediction on it. So with that said, we're going to move straight over to what is probably the most difficult of them all, and it has been for some time now to predict what's going to happen here. The American Athletic Conference, right? This is tough to say the least in terms of trying to figure out who's going to do this. So we've got North Texas, Charlotte, Rice, Tulane, Memphis, Tulsa, Navy, UTSA, Temple, Florida Atlantic, UAB, that's Alabama, Birmingham, Army, East Carolina, and South Florida. And what makes this such an interesting group this year, right, is so many of the head coaches have been poached out the American. North Texas lost Eric Morris. Tulane lost John Sumrall. Memphis lost Ryan Silverfield. South Florida lost Alex Golesh, all to power jobs. And then you've got the service teams, Army and Navy, who have been very consistent in recent years, who are notching about there. And then you've got sort of these middling teams, who we were talking about them the other week during the Phil Steele Group of Five things here. You've got teams like Temple, who were sporting talent there. UTSA with a fantastic home record. If they could win a few more on the road, they're dangerous. East Carolina, always around there. Florida Atlantic, one of the best passers, receiver combos in the nation, slowly getting to where they want to be. It's just, I don't know about you, it's so tough to try and figure out what's going to go on here. Who have you got making the American title game?
So I have got the Navy midshipmen as the American champions. They are returning talent. Like I said, they've done great in recent years of replacing talent that has moved on. They're incredibly stout. Their defense is very good. Great situational awareness, fantastic coaching, and they've made themselves a very hard to beat program that's proved right now they're able to go the distance when it matters the most. I have got them beating a depleted but not down and out South Florida Bulls. I've just got a feeling that whoever wins that QB job of Luke Kromenek or Michael Van Buren, led by that dynamic offensive mind in Brian Hartline, could spark some life into an offense that has unfortunately lost Byron Brown, but could find new life under a new QB under centre. Still tons of pieces. One of the best wide receivers in the country that Brian Hartline will absolutely love and will make a star going forward one day. I still see enough talent in there. I still get the buzz with the new stadium nearly built. The fans will rally behind them because it's good times right now in South Florida. And I think he will prove that he has long been waiting for his chance to be a head coach, been a great positional coach and offensive coordinator, and he's bringing in some good talent from the portal. If it all clicks, this could be a very dangerous team, but it just will fall short at the end, unfortunately, due to big game lack of experience.
So you are going with the Navy hype. They are favoured to win the American, and Rye is backing them fully there against USF. Again, this is very tough, and this is kind of one of my emotional ones, which I know I'm totally going to get wrong. I have, and can I stop doing this because I keep messing around. Where are we? I'm double clicking. So I have UTSA, the Roadrunners, getting back to their top perch against Tulane, obviously bedding in a new coach this year, but Will Hall was on staff before, but had a so-so time of it at Southern Miss. I think he's going to take a little bit of time to get into the groove with the Green Wave, but they will still win games. But I just don't know. UTSA, I've been massive on this team for years now. They have a stellar home record, beaten once in the Alamodome in conference since 2019. It's just not a place where you can go and win games. It's just been the road version of them, which has been a little off. But the run game is coming back to the fore. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the conference in Owen McCown. And you did just sort of see enough last year where you think they are starting to turn a little bit of a corner, and you are starting to see them become that domineering team they once were. And, with Army and Navy, the service teams, they're so hit and miss they can be. They have been consistent more in recent years, but UTSA can beat them at their own game when they want to. They've got a more favourable schedule in terms of where they're playing this year, the teams they've got at home and away. I think that it's going to be the time when they come to the fore and they're champions again, but they're going to do it against a Green Wave side who will still win games, because even though they've changed the head coach, they just know how to win games of football now, and they will be there or thereabouts. But this could easily be the one where none of these four teams we've picked could be in, and it wouldn't be surprising. That's just how crazy it is. In terms of how we did with it last year, in the American, you had Navy winning it last year, Rye, taking down East Carolina, although for the most part of the season it looked pretty good, but they just tailed off towards the end. East Carolina struggled with injuries. I had a rare W here. Tulane, I picked to win it. Tulane eventually did win it against North Texas, neither of whom we had on here, but good to see that I was at least able to pick one out there. But it feels like Tulane winning the American is like kind of one of those easier ones that you can kind of look yourself into. But we're both at 2 out of 5 for the championship games so far, so we're not doing too bad. But it only goes downhill for me from here. So yeah, it is what it is. Moving across now, we've got the Big Ten, and I can already tell you, no one saw what was going to happen last year in terms of Indiana winning the whole damn thing. But yeah, just absolutely crazy what happened in the Big Ten last year. But everyone's going to be out to try and recover this year. In terms of the teams who are in, just to remind you before we make our picks, hang on, I should know all this off by heart now, but I don't. We've got Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan State, Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, Purdue, Indiana, Northwestern, Illinois, Maryland, Rutgers, USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon. It is much more than a Big Ten now. It's a Big 18. Obviously, right, we knew Indiana would be good last year. We didn't see them going to win it. Are we going to see a repeat? Are we going to see another team emerge from the depths to win this thing? Or are we going back to one of the big boys winning the whole lot?
I'd love to put Indiana back in, but I can't. I love what they did in the portal, but they brought in a very volatile, explosive quarterback, and you have to take the good with the bad. And like I say, I think they will fall just short and come third. They'll be the team that misses out. I've got the big boys. I've got the Ducks. I've got the Buckeyes. But I've got revenge, and revenge is best served cold. The Oregon Ducks, who I consider having the best pair of defensive, offensive sophomores in the country, in Brandon Finney Jr. and Courier Moore, who are going to have absolutely stellar seasons. One of the best centres in the country. You've got Dante Moore that's returned to football because he just left with a sour taste in his mouth last year, decided not to declare unfinished business. I think the Ducks are coming for it all. And I think they're going to go toe-to-toe, out-battle Julian saying, and this young team is going to leave the Buckeyes fans feeling wanting this year. So yeah, give me green and silver.
Again, me and Ryan do this independent of one another. We do not chat to each other about this. We both look at the game very differently sometimes, but sometimes we have the same view, and I have the same when it wants to do it. I have Oregon winning the Big Ten against Ohio State. Now I love Indiana. I don't want Indiana to do it again. I'm trying to keep the pressure off them by saying they're going back to back. But for me, right, this is a bigger conversation about Dan Lanning. And I might upset Paul here or whatnot, but Oregon have been very good under Dan Lanning. His record is just as good as what Ryan Day has had at Ohio State. It's better than what most teams have had in the entire country. I think he's like 48-8 at this point as Oregon head coach. But we know them for one thing, right? We know them for choking the big games. This goes all the way back to the Washington games, back when the Pac-12 was a thing, when they were on paper a much better team than what Washington were, but they come up against the workman-like teams, the teams who bully them a little more, and they fall apart. You think the Rose Bowl or the Cotton Bowl, was it 2 years ago against Ohio State? They got absolutely mullered. Last year, Indiana come to Eugene and put them in a blender. I know the scoreline doesn't say that, but the trenches just absolutely got destroyed by Indiana. And then in the playoffs, they got obliterated. And Dan Lanning, for me, he's very close to me calling him Lincoln Riley light, in that he gets a lot of good recruiting classes, he wins a lot of good games, it looks very flashy and it looks very good, but when it comes to the chase, when it comes to when it really matters, his teams always fall apart and he can't win the big one. Would you agree with that? Because if he doesn't do it this year with Dante Moore, who's a front runner for the Heisman, like you said, Courier and Moore, you've got some great DBs. Brandon Finney, true freshman, amazing last year. You've got Koi Carp at safety this year. You've got Tatum Tuioti and Mateo Uangalele back at your edge position. Like, if you can't do it this year, then it says something that you just can't do it in the big games, and you're going the way of Lincoln Riley and James Franklin.
Yeah, if they fall flat on their face this year, you will have to question if Dan Lanning is the man that can take the best talent and get it done in a conference that is there to be won. Like I say, they win big games, they win big, they score heavy, they score quickly, but when they come up against that small handful of arch nemesis, they just found to be left wanting in big situations, in critical moments, shoot themselves in the foot. And yeah, it'll be will they always be the bridesmaid, never the bride situation. So it's a huge year for Dan Lanning.
And it sounds crazy, doesn't it? Like, you look at the record and you're like, there's absolutely no way this guy should be getting questioned whatsoever. It's one of the best records in the country, but as we've seen, winning is fine, but ultimately, you've got to make the playoffs. You've got to win the Natty. That's all that matters. I mean, we had the same thing about Ryan Day, right, before he eventually won it with Ohio State. A lot of wins, a lot of flashy 5 stars, but kind of was beaten up by Michigan when it mattered. He eventually went on and won it. It feels like this is that year where they really, this is the do or die year for a thing. But it is crazy, but I do think it's true.
Yeah. Like you say, there's a lot of coaches out there that have got hundreds of wins under their belt, like you say, and have got close and not far. Like, eventually I'll be asking the same question of Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah.
How much talent and money do you put into him at Texas? When, yeah, the play is good, the record's good, but when do you get the big reward?
Yeah.
When does it pay off? What's the end goal? Like you say, so yeah, there's a lot of guys here that for now are fine. But like you say, if they do stumble or falter for another year or two, well, I think some serious questions and internal looking will have to be had.
Yeah, and that's why I've got Oregon in the title game, because I think it matters for them this year. I think this is a year where he goes from being very talented to, yeah, he goes to that Lincoln Riley caliber where, yeah, he's good, but he's not it. So we will see with that. In terms of the predictions from last year, you had the same one last year. You had Oregon versus Ohio State last year. Obviously, that did not come to fruition. I had Penn State versus USC, and I made the mistake with Lincoln Riley. I'm not going to make that mistake again. He's dead to me in terms of trying to be a good coach. It's just not happening. And Penn State, well, wow, that was probably the biggest letdown of the year. So, yeah, kind of got that one really wrong. At least you had Ohio State. You were kind of in the zone for that one. Right, we're moving over to the Big 12. Again, just another one of those conferences where there's a lot of teams that can win it. And we need to try and find who it's going to be. So in terms of this year, we've got Arizona State, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Utah, Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, BYU, West Virginia, Baylor, Arizona, TCU, Colorado, Kansas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. Yeah, this is your wheelhouse, Rye, the ASU fan. Any chance they're going to make it this year, or is it two different teams who are going to be contesting for the Big 12 title game?
For the British fans, I've gone a bit off-piste. I've got Helen Mirren v Judi Dench. I've got Hannah Waddingham versus Anne Hathaway. I've got the Battle of the Cougars. I've got those those women everyone loves, the 50-overs. I have got, but I have not got it where everyone will assume. It's not blue and it's not white winning. It's Houston. The Houston Cougars will win the Big 12, led by star playmakers, their fifth-year quarterback Connor Weigman, great coaches, and a very solid, sound roster. And they will go toe-to-toe, and they will be the biggest upset team of the year and one of the biggest surprise packages, taking down, like I say, a great team, a great coach, a great roster, but BYU will not have enough on the day, and Houston will leave them with more than a few scratches, let's say.
There we go. We have Helen Mirren winning the Big 12. That was not a sentence I was expecting to hear today on my racket, but yeah, Houston versus BYU, that will be one hell of a title game for sure. Let's see what I went with, and oh, whoops, I've got a Houston win over BYU. Honestly, we have not been copying one another. This is a case of we go away and think about this, and I'm with you. Willie Fritz knows how to win championships, and obviously it helps that Houston have had the money ball rolling around and they're able to get some good recruits into the building, but, you know, when you put a championship caliber coach with a championship caliber NIL budget, then championships can follow. And as you've mentioned, Connor Weigman has settled in nicely. They've got Oh God, Keyshawn Henderson, who's in the building this year, the best quarterback in the last recruiting class, the 5-star. So if Weigman struggles, they've got a super 5-star recruit to stick right into that lineup. You've got some of the best players, skilled players in the conference there. I think it's Amari Thomas, the star receiver. He's got there plenty of options to aim at, and a defense that's getting better and better, and they've added to. And, money talks. And BYU, I'm with you. They're a very good football team. I've got them getting back because Bear Backmeyer is obviously sophomore this year. He's got his freshman year out the way. It was a damn good freshman year, but he's just going to have that little bit more craftiness, that little bit more nuance in his game now that the second year quarterbacks have. And, they struggled. The only 2 games BYU struggled in were against Texas Tech, where the domineering D-line came and absolutely obliterated them, and the young freshman QB got a little stung in the headlights, which is completely understandable. Outside of that, BYU are a tremendous team. They've got LJ Martin back, probably the best running back in the conference. Sorry, Caleb Hawkins, but he is. And then you're always going to have a really good defense. You're going to have really good trenches there. Sataki obviously withstood the move to Penn State to stay here. He's committed to the program. I think he's going to get them back there. But Willie Fritz is a champion, and Kalen Sataki is not as of yet. And I think that is the difference. But I'm with you. Battle of the... I'm sorry, I can't get Helen Mirren winning the Big 12 out of my head now. You've put that... You've put that one in there for me, but yeah, that's the third one we've got, and we've got the exact same winners. We didn't have this last year, so maybe it's not as predictable. Maybe it's more predictable than we thought, but that is what the Big 12 has in store for us. In terms of last year's Big 12 championship game, it was Texas Tech who obviously took home the entire thing last year. After all the money that was invested in the program, you would expect them to. They absolutely destroyed BYU 34-7. What did we have? You had Texas Tech beating Arizona State. Your team did not make it there, but you did correctly guess who was going to win it, so that is a green for you. I had the Bectacle and Iowa State winning against Baylor, and I don't like Dave Aranda no more. I don't know how he's still got a job at Baylor. Should be out of it, but did not get that one right at all. So you don't fancy Dillingham and the Sun Devils to do it this year, right?
No, I mean...
You're a Cutter fan?
I like what I signed, but I don't know. I do worry.
Okay, fair enough.
There's a lot of hype behind him, but he could fall really flat on his face.
Yeah, absolutely could. Right, we got 2 left of these. Let me just quickly go and make sure I've not missed out on any comments as we've been going along. Oh, gone. I'm going to have to get better at doing this. Oh. My finger's gone. Where are we? There we are. We're back up. Hey. Mark Walker goes, yay, let's go, Helen. Also, Minnesota trying to break through the wall. He also goes, pretty amazing alignment between you guys this year. Show you're both paying close attention. You have to. Like, not many people are going to pick Houston to win the Big 12. I know the money's still in there, but they'll all still pick Texas Tech. So, you know. He goes, also, just want to say Brent would have loved your alignment. Brent would have. He would have obviously berated us for not having Army to win the American, but he would have loved that one for sure. Right, let's get the last 2 conferences out of the way, then we'll get into some of the positional ones, and more importantly, the playoffs. We've got the ACC next, and why is... Oh, my system just loves to play around today. What are we doing? It's the Eclipse. It's messing with our technology. It is what it is. But yeah, the Atlantic Coastal, home of my beloved NC State, so of course I'm going to have them winning it this year. But yeah, right, we've got NC State, Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, Miami of Florida, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, SMU, Syracuse, UNC, Stanford, Virginia, Clemson, Pittsburgh, Duke, and Cal. And I'm assuming we're both also going to agree on this one that it's going to be a UNC Stanford championship game. Yeah, no arguments here. No need to have a chat about this one.
That would be probably the best thing ever. Unfortunately, not though. No,
Oh,
I think we will agree on the winner. There is a
um,
team that is still above head and shoulders above the rest, in my opinion.
yeah, I have a feeling we might be the second team. Does it have one of your favourite edge rushers in the country on there?
It did, and I changed my mind.
Oh, good, because that means we'd have aligned on 4 in a row, which would have
Obviously,
would have brought
Darian
in.
Yeah. Obviously, Mark Fletcher Jr., Malachi Tony, Darian Mensah. Like, obviously, the Miami Hurricanes should win the ACC.
For
They
the
have
first ever time.
yeah.
They've still never
Yeah.
won it, which is crazy.
They should have a great team. I have them, like I said, I was going to put them beating Louisville, but I've pivoted yesterday and I've had a look at Ross and think I have SMU under Rhett Lashley making the title
Ooh.
game flying under the radar in the ACC this year, led by Kevin Jennings, who is a great quarterback in his own right, has been incredibly talented. It's a very good roster that's returning a good amount of production with a great offensive coach. They're a heavily minded team on offense. They score quick, they can score heavy, and cause lots of problems for a lot of big teams here. Like I say, I think they won't have enough firepower to go toe to toe, but I can see the Mustangs pipping the Cardinals and sliding their way into a title game next year.
I like that shout. That is one of many dark horses in the ACC, but I like the shout. But I agree with you. We are in alignment again. I think this is going to be our 5th straight winner in a row that we've agreed on. But I do have the Miami Hurricanes winning in the championship game. But I did go with the Louisville Cardinals for this, and it's a case of I think this has to be Jeff Brohm's year. Like, they've been close. They're another. It's not kind of in the Oregon-esque category, but they've always been around, but they've never made it when they probably should have. They've had some very talented teams, and you think you've got the playmakers you want this year. I do believe in Lincoln Kineholtz. I think Lincoln Kineholtz in that Louisville offense is gonna thrive. I know he's not played much, given that he's a 4th year now, but obviously he's been sat at Ohio State behind some very good quarterbacks there. It's kind of not his fault. And we've seen what Louisville has done. They can rehab quarterbacks who have kind of been good but not fulfilled their potential. But obviously you've got the running back room. You've got Isaac Brown, who's one of the best running backs in the country, going at over 7 yards a carry last year. You've got a deep room there. You've got a good defensive line with the likes of Clev Lubin and that on there. He's one of the best rushers in the country. And I just feel like, again, Clemson are in between. New quarterback this year. Lost quite a few players to the draft. Obviously, Blake Miller gone now. Big program, a lot of talent on there. They'll always have a lot of high-rated players and that, and they'll always be in the mix. But it just feels like it's the year for Brohm to finally have Louisville break through and make the title game. But Miami's going to have too much. Mensah's there, as you've said. There's so much young talent on that team. There's just true freshmen everywhere who've been starting and playing, and they're like seasoned pros, and they've not even reached their junior years yet. Malachi Tony's going to be in with a shout to win the Biletnikov. I think this is the year Miami finally do it with Cristobal. I don't see anyone who can stand in their way, and they've got a great running back room to boot as well. So yeah, I've got Miami, Florida as well. And we have them playing against Louisville. In terms of what went on last year, unexpected, let's say. Especially because the team who ended up going all the way didn't even make it to the title game. But Duke, the Blue Devils, beating Virginia. Duke and Manny Diaz winning the title, which was a big deal for them. Obviously, Manny disappointed in his head coaching career, then goes to Duke, wins a title with them. What did we have? We both had Clemson winning it last year. You did have Duke in the title game, though, so there is that. I had Clemson beating Pittsburgh, so we both got that one wrong, but neither of us have Duke getting back there this year, but no Mensah. Probably going to be a tough ask for them, but you did call Duke getting there right, and not a lot of people thought that might happen, so That's kind of half a point there for you, I would guess. And then finally, we've got the SEC, and this is the one I had a lot of fun with this year, because I think this is where one of my surprise comes in terms of teams I think is going to do well this year. So we're going to see. But in terms of the SEC teams, obviously Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, TAMU, Ole Miss, Auburn, and LSU. No more divisions. It's one straight crapshoot, as they say. Who is it this year, Ryan? The big guys are in the dumps. There's a lot of head coaching changes. It feels like it's the most wide open it's been in some time. Who've you got making your SEC title game, and who've you got winning it?
I think this is the year the cream rises to the top. I think Arch Manning is ready to finally live up to his potential. We saw flashes late last year, like you say, of the player he could be. There's a lot of up and down play last year in Texas in general, niggling injuries, team held back, but they've hit the portal hard again. They've made some serious additions. For me, they've upgraded at some positions, and I have the Longhorns finally taking what they believe is theirs by right, storming to an SEC championship win. I've got them beating Lane Kiffin. I have the Rebs, like you say, and not because of Chambliss, but because of Keywan later. I think, like you say, the best running back in the country, they will lean upon him, and they will.
You mean Pete Golding now?
Yep, don't even why I said that. Yep, you know what I mean? Nope, to wrong, like you say. Nope. Yeah, like you say, Golden, I think he's a great internal hire. The Ole Miss offense got all the love in recent years, but their defense is very good. Like I say, he's got some great players on there. The stellar linebacker room. Like I say, he's brought one of the another U-man Mylans in. I think Princewell should hopefully have a stellar year rushing the passer for them. Got one of the star DTs in the country. What is it, Will Eccles?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be, like say, a high draft pick next year. So the D line is reloaded. Golden seems a very likable coach. The players want to play for him. Star running back, great offensive positions. Yeah, Chambliss just has to do what he did again last year, extend plays of his legs and don't turn the ball over. If he can do that again, keep their play clean, then there's no reason that for finally they can do what Kiffin couldn't and break the ceiling on Charlie's golden elevator.
And there you go, and you got Sarkisian winning his SEC and putting his tenure stamp on there and getting the championship that he needs. I can see that happening. That would be a fun one, Texas versus Ole Miss there. Is Will Eccles Power Eccles, or are they two different people? Do we know? Is his Power his nickname, or are they two different people?
I think that's his nickname. I think they're the same person.
I think it's because I keep trying to work it out, but I don't know whether he's just called Power Eccles or whether there's two different ones of them. But I thought they were the same. But anywho, yeah, Texas versus Ole Miss for you. I have Texas in mind, but this is where my real shocker comes in. I have the Red River rivalry doing the SEC title game. Really? And I have Oklahoma winning the SEC this year. And that is my hot take. And I have this hot take because I think that defense is amazing. I think they have a championship caliber defense. And now what they have is they have a healthy John Mateer, who has had a year in the SEC. He looked good in spurts last year. Then he got that hand injury, which he was trying to play through, which he couldn't. But Oklahoma were a force to be reckoned with before that. Beat Bama twice. But they've lost a couple of bits of that defense. But you've got David Stone, who's one of the best DTs in the nation. You have you've got Owen Heineke. That linebacker room's really good. The secondary is completely locked down. And I think now you've got enough on offense for them, because it's a difficult place to go and win. They are traditionally a powerhouse who've just been down on their luck, but I think they've come across the formula that's going to take them. And because of the way the SEC runs, where they all play one another now, you don't need to play all the big boys to be able to get to the title game. But I saw enough in that defense last year where I'm like, if it's that good again, mixed with Mateer in year two and the players with it, I think they're going to be sneaky, and all the other teams are going to take enough games off one another where Oklahoma are going to fly right under that radar. And, I mean, what a game it would be, right? A Red River rivalry for the SEC championship game. I'm just not... Yeah.
Very fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm just not ready to crown Arch yet. I'm not sold on him just yet. But I do think Texas will get there, because they've just got an embarrassment of riches. What is it, with Raleek Brown from your lot, Hollywood Smothers, the running back room, you got Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, like, I mean, you couldn't ask for any better. You've got Gooseby, who's going to be a top 5 pick at tackle in next year's draft, like, you've got Colin Simmons, I mean, the list goes on of talent you've got on there. But Oklahoma just showed something last year where I'm like, they can beat anyone on their day with that defense, they just need the offense to match, so yeah. I have the Red River. In terms of the SEC championship game last year and what went on, it was Georgia and Bama. Georgia won themselves the SEC last year, 28-7. Just have a little look at how we did with that. You had Texas beating LSU. I had Alabama beating LSU. So we both got that one wrong. We were very high on LSU last year and they let us down, which means overall you got 3 of the 9. I got 2 of the 9. So you got one in every... Hang on. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 9. You got 3 of 9. I got 2 of 9. So we didn't do too bad really there, did we? I'm feeling a bit more confident this year. Let's just say that for sure. Right, we're going to move it on. It's been going a little while. We're going to go, and these will happen a lot quicker now that we don't have to go through all the teams. We get to the positional awards part of the show. So, go through position by position. The Davy O'Brien Award for Best Quarterback in the country. Ryan, who do you have that title going to this year?
I have Dante Moore. I just feel like with that offense, like I say, he's got a star tight end, he's got a true wide receiver one his sophomore year. He's coming back with a vengeance. He will be even more polished, hopefully, than he was last year. I think he's going to put on a clinic behind an offensive line, and they should have a deep playoff run. I think he's going to have a tremendous season, and he's going to have one of the best Big Ten passing seasons that we've seen for a number of years.
You've got Dante Moore winning it. I have, and I've gone for a real wild card here because he might...
I bet I know you've gone for.
No, I would be shocked if you knew who I've gone for. I've not gone for CJ. I've not gone for CJ Bailey. I would do otherwise, but the guy I've gone for might not even start on his own team, but I hope he does because his head coach needs him to. I have Keelan Russell down at Alabama. I know people say it's Austin Mack's job to lose, but Keelan Russell is the super 5-star they recruited last year. He sat and waited a year. It's his turn to go and take that offense over now, and I think that because he's coming from out of nowhere, the Alabama team, I've not got them making the title game, but they're still going to win a lot of games. He's still going to put up some good yardage. I think we're going to see the redshirt freshman take that job very quickly and establish himself as one of the best signal calls, because in terms of talent, arm talent, etc., he'd be one of the best in the SEC very quickly. So it is a complete wild card. It is not an established guy I've got for going for the Davy O'Brien, but he certainly is that caliber if he gets going. So yeah, I've got Keelan Russell of Alabama for the Davy O'Brien. In terms of last year, won by one Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, and we weren't even close. You had Cade Klubnik of Clemson. I had Garrett Nussmeier of LSU, and I'm trying to, because I feel like I've never liked Garrett Nussmeier, so I don't know why I made that pick. Probably did it as a stats-based thing, but absolutely got that one wrong. So yeah, we'll not look back on that one too fondly. Right, we'll move it on to the Doak Walker running back. Who, Ryan, have you got for best running back in the country next year?
I've got Raleek Brown. Texas needs an injection into its running back room. He had a tremendous year for Arizona State. It makes sense for him to enter the portal and have one big crack at winning it. I think he's so talented. He's a strong, physical downhill runner of a great pace. He can take all the pressure off Arch Manning when needs be. We know ultimately Texas wants to run the ball first. We've seen that in recent years that no matter who's under center at QB, it wants to be a running program. They've now got another potential franchise running back that can take the load as a workhorse. And I think he's going to have a tremendous year. And have the Longhorns marching deep into the playoffs. And he'll put that team on its back where it needs be.
And they say there's no Arizona State bias in there at all. Raleek Brown of Texas. I have gone for a Brown as well, but not that one. I've gone for Isaac Brown of Louisville. I think, it's going to be his time to shine. I've got Louisville making the ACC title game, and I think he's just going to carry on being great. He had his injury issues last year, but he's running over 7 yards a carry. He's going to need to be there for Lincoln Kineholtz while he adjusts to being a starter for the first time in college. They're going to lean a lot on him. And I think he's going to put down some serious yardage on the ACC this year because it is a conference where you can run on people and you can get those stats right up. So I do have Isaac Brown from Louisville winning it. So Raleek Brown and a vote for Isaac Brown. In terms of last year, Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame won it. Ryan had Nicholas Singleton from Penn State. I had, when I can get the colours right, Mackie Hughes from Oregon. And he didn't even see the field last year. Probably one of the most disappointing things I did, all told. So, yeah, we got that one wrong as well. I'm not sure we got any of these right, but they're very tough. To pick one player out of thousands to win an award is very tough. Moving on to one of the favourite ones to go over, the Biletnikoff, Ryan, wide receiver. Who do you have winning the Biletnikoff this year?
This is where my wild card comes in.
Ooh.
I have Mario Craver, the diminutive player. Like I say, the star A&M Aggie, all 5'7" of him. Like I say, last year was a good player. Like I say, 917 yards, 4 touchdowns, but I just feel like we haven't seen the potential yet. We've yet to break the glass ceiling. I'm hoping, like I say, Marcel Reed stays fit, has a good year. I think this could be the year that he takes the SEC by storm. Like I say, another year in the league. Like I say, entering his junior year, he should have put it all together now. He's older, he's more experienced. I think he's going to be unplayable, and he's going to have an incredible highlight reel of explosive players. Hopefully also get in on the rushing game as well. Maybe even get some returns under his belt. So I think he's going to be the most dangerous receiver in the Power 4.
And no KC Conception to hog targets off him as well. He's going to be the main man. I have gone for Charlie Becker of Indiana. This is my wild card. I love him to death. I think now that there's no Elijah Sarrett, now there's no Omar Cooper at Indiana, he's going to be one of the main guys, but he's not going to be the guy because you've got Nick Marsh coming into the building as well. So it's not like every cornerback one is going to be singled in on him this year. Between Nick Marsh and Charlie Becker, you're going to have a very potent receiving duo. And Josh Hoover loves to throw deep downfield. And Becker didn't make that many catches last year, only about 30 or 35, but every one was in the highest leverage of situations, critical downs, big games. He was not shy from the limelight. He is a big frame at 6'3", 215, I think he was last time I checked. Perfect outside X receiver build. Really good hands, really good catching with his body, keeping the DB away from the ball and just making those big plays downfield when his team really needed him. Like, especially for redshirt freshman last year, for the fact that Mendoza kept going to him in clutch situations when he had 2 other big options he could have used as well, shows how much they put this kid in there. But I think Becker's going to break out big time this year. He's going to be well over 1,000 yards, and everyone is going to be talking about him come the 28 draft. So Becker's my wild card for the Biletnikoff. I've got him taking that one down. In terms of last year, Makai Lemon was the winner. You had Cam Coleman out of Auburn, who disappointed. I had Antonio Williams from Clemson. Couldn't have been further away with that one either. Moving on to the John Mackey, and this might be the one we agree on, although I could be wrong. Are you going to put the Brit up for this? Can the Brit do it? Or are you going for the athletic freak? Or are you going for someone else?
If the athletic freak comes from Baton Rouge, yes, I'm going for the athletic freak. Yeah, I'm going for 6'7" Trades Green.
Yep.
Basically, yeah, red zone monster. 7 touchdowns last year and 33 receptions. Sam Levitt didn't really have much tight end to work with in his time at ASU. It wasn't it wasn't an offense built around a tight end. So I think this year he will look for a security blanket. I think he'll expect to match those totals, but that's 433 yards. I think that number's going to go up massively. I think Trades Green's going to have a monster year. He feels like a lock to be a first round pick next year.
Yeah.
Terrifies me. He's the kind of boom or bust player, but I'd say he's going to have a tremendous year. I think he's going to romp home to this award, even if LSU stink.
Yeah, I really did want to put Peter Clark in here, but if my history serves me right, that John Mackey isn't kind towards group of 5 tight ends. So it's very tough to win it from the group of 5. So I also put Trades Green in there just because of the potential. Like, there are other guys who could win it, but if Trades Green has the season we think he's going to have in this LSU offense, then my word, they'll go nuts. And
I did consider Benjamin Brahma.
I did as well.
A really big year.
Yeah.
And we know how they like tight ends and to maximise their potential there.
Yeah, Rocco Becht, Matt Campbell do. Yeah, and like you said, Sam Levitt isn't used to throwing to tight ends, so will he throw to Trades Green? That's the thing. I think this is upside based. But I did consider Brahma as well. I do like Benjamin Brahma, but it just depends with Penn State. If he gets in the red zone a lot, Brahma's really dangerous, so we'll see. But I should have put Rocco Becht in for the Davey O'Brien. What am I doing? But yeah, there we go. In terms of the Mackey winner from last year, because it's always fun. I think we have guessed this right in the past. We've been pretty good with it, but Eli Stowers won it last year, the Vanderbilt tight end. And we went way off the... You had RJ Maryland from SMU to win it, and I had Max Clare of Ohio State, and we were not right on that. It was Eli Stowers. Again, don't think we're going to get many right here. It's very tough to call these ones properly. So yeah, the John Mackey, we got wrong. Now we got the Outland Trophy for interior lineman, although it's not for interior lineman because a tackle's managed to win it, but I'm still going off the assumption that it's going to be a tackle. It could be either side of the ball. Who do you have winning the Outland this year, Ryan? I will accept tackles because apparently that is allowed.
Yeah, I'm going to go with tackle. I'm going to go with Anthony Knapp, the tackle from Notre Dame. Like I say, I think he is going to have an absolute monster year. Like I say, a previous freshman All-American, now the trusted protector of CJ Carr. Like I say, he is the Heisman favourite. I think having such a good offensive line is a high reason that the case of that is. Like I say, may kick to a guard at professional, like say 6'4", 300 pounds. I think he'll be an NFL guard. But I think on that offensive line, he can play any of the interior positions he so which chooses, and he could dominate any which one he wanted to. And he is going to have a tremendous year and keep CJ clean as a whistle. Notre Dame can go incredibly far this year if that offensive line plays to its potential.
Yeah, certainly they could. So yeah, Antony Knapp, Notre Dame, the tackle there. Me, I've gone a little bit of a different direction, and I've gone with someone who the Lions are already getting mocked next year, given stuff that's going on. But I've got Cade Piper, the Iowa guard, the vicious Iowa guard. When you're talking about someone who could, when you think of interior linemen, you think of these big, dirty, hulking guys who just love to kill people for their job, and Cade Piper loves to kill people as part of his job. He's just another one of that factory of Iowa linemen who they look NFL ready before they even get to the NFL. Like, he is already a first round prospect. If that team does well this year, if they're able to have a good run game this year and maybe have a good quarterback for a change, then if Cade Piper has a good season, he's going to be right in the conversation for one of the best in the nation. And Iowa's a school which will always get attention for something like the Outland. So, yeah, I've got Cade Piper there, but I'm absolutely not taking him in. I'm not taking a guard in the first round of next year's draft. I would be absolutely horrified if Brad Holmes did that, but still, yeah, he is a first-round talent for sure. In terms of last year, we mentioned it was won by tackle. Spencer Farnu won the Outland last year for interior lineman. I can only assume by interior lineman they mean someone actually on the line, not like a tight end or something like that, which, kind of feels like cheating, but it is what it is. Last year you had Caleb Banks, the Florida D tackle, to win it. I had Lee Hunter, the Texas Tech D tackle, to win it, but it was won by an offensive tackle instead. Just going to quickly dive down into comments, make sure I've not missed anything out, and once again managed to get the blue screen of death. Where we are. Gorgeous photo you got there, Ant. I appreciate you guys saying which team these goals belong to. Yeah, try and keep this all good there. Not sure which photo I've got. I don't know. There's a lot going on. But yeah, we've not missed anything else. Why is my system going crazy? Stop misbehaving. Right, let's crack on, because we're getting there with it. Next up, we have the defensive awards. So we've got the Chuck Bednarik and the Bronco Nagurski. Now, what we've generally, me and Ryan have traditionally done with this is we can interchange these. Both of these are defensive awards, so it doesn't matter who you pick, whether it be the Bednarik or the Nagurski. If your player wins one of the two, you kind of get him. So, you get kind of two shots at the same award here. So either order, right? You can just give us both. Who have you got for your Chuck Bednarik and your Bronco Nagurski?
I've got Dylan Stewart and Clev Lubin, who I believe will be the best two pass rushers in the country next year. I think Stewart, it all clicks on the South Carolina defense where he's able to wreck it, and Clev Lubin, established, dominant ACC pass rusher, has got a chance at getting the most sacks in the country this year. Very well-rounded, put together, and probably one of the most important players for the Cardinals, if not maybe the most outside of their running back.
Yeah, Dylan Stewart, if he can he's had a great year as a pass rusher and a great year as a run defender. If he can bring them both together, he's going to be an absolute monster. Could clearly win this one. So I agree, though. Generally, you find these winners on the defensive line because they're the splashier play ones. So for me, I've kind of gone the low-hanging fruit with one. I did pick him last year. I do have Colin Simmons of Texas winning one of these because he is a game wrecker on his day. Maybe didn't live up to the potential we thought he might last year. Texas overall, disappointed a little bit. Didn't quite reach the ceiling they were meant to. Kind of came down to the offense, but I think Colin Simmons is going to bounce back. He's going to have his best year yet. It's only his junior year. Probably going to see him come to the draft if he has a stellar standout year, especially if Texas win the SEC and make it deep in the playoffs. But yeah, we've seen what he can be. He's an absolute game wrecker and the best sort of edge outside linebacker hybrid in the country by far. So I've got him on there. And then the other one, I've got a guy who I really like. It's a case of David Stone. Oh my God, why has this system been so funny with me today? I got David Stone, the D tackle from Oklahoma. Obviously a super 5-star recruit for them a couple of years ago. Was on that ferocious line last year with the likes of R. Mason, Thomas, etc. They've lost a couple of bits. He's going to be the main man this year. The other two D tackles have both come up to the NFL. It's his show now, but he's 6'3", 350, and he is athletically an absolute freak. Just really started to see what that 5-star, fuss was about last year, and he was really good. I think he's going to take the spell this year. He's just one of those tackles who can ruin games, and when you get a genuine game-wrecking defensive tackle, they can go win the Bronco Nagurski, the Chuck Bednarik, bits like this. But I'm looking forward to seeing him play this year. Again, part of the reason why I'm so high on Oklahoma is that defense and what they're all about. So, I'm going to get that, and I'm just going to put this back up again because I keep losing us on screen. It's a pain in the neck. Right. Where were we? Let's get back on. Next up, we've got the Dick Butkus, the linebacker award, best linebacker in the nation. Now, we have gotten this right in previous years. We've not been too bad with it. So, who have you got winning the Dick Butkus this year, Rye?
I think this one's pretty straightforward. I've got Rasheem Biles.
Ooh.
Texas has got an Antony Hill Jr. sized hole in its defense. So what did they do? They went and got a linebacker with nearly 200 tackles, 13 passes defended, 10 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 3 defensive touchdowns in 2 years. That defensive line can collapse the pocket and create holes. Rasheem Biles is going to cause absolute havoc in the SEC this year. He is going to absolutely dominate and be the best linebacker in the country without a shadow of a doubt. He is going to mop up everything that defensive line gives him.
Oh, I can get that. The only thing is, I never know what they classify him as, but I guess he will classify as linebacker because he's kind of like the outside linebacker type. But I think they do qualify for it because I was thinking about outside linebacker types myself. So, but yeah, Rasheem Biles, that is a good shout there. I have gone for the outside linebacker type as well. I've got Elijah Hardy from Indiana. I think this kid's amazing. Part of why this Indiana defense was so good last year, he was absolutely dominant. And as a pass rusher, he is really good. He's so explosive. He's got good pass rush moves. He gets into the backfield so quickly, but he's also a good, stout, hardy middle linebacker as well who can do all the dirty work. He just doesn't do the flashy pass rushing. He's also good when it comes to the middle of defense. And with Aiden Fisher gone this year, there's going to be more need for him to help in the middle and to help with his linebacker duties a bit more over his pass rushing. But I think as a hybrid, versatile player, on a team that's going to do well, that's probably going to make the playoffs and be in some big-time games, I think he's going to get enough exposure where he can go after the Dick Butkus Award. So, yeah, for me, I think Elijah Hardy's going to be there, but we've both gone after players who play on the outside, which is fun. I've just realised I didn't do the award winners for before, so we will keep up there. So I think so Jacob Rodriguez won. I'm pretty sure he won all 3 of these. He won the Butkus, he won the Nagurski, and he won the Bednarik last year. He won all 3, which is absolutely unprecedented. So yeah, we all struggled here. So we both had Colin Simmons winning. Or you had him winning the Nagurski, I had him winning the Bednarik. You had Anthony Hill Jr., I had Wade Woodaz. And then for the linebackers, we had Whit Weeks and Deontay Lawson. So, yeah, we kind of came close. Some of these guys did well, but Jacob Rodriguez just had the season of all seasons. I'm surprised you didn't go for the other Texas Tech linebacker this year. Because I know, is it Ben Roberts?
Ben Roberts.
Because I know you like... I like your I know you like your Texas Tech linebackers, but Rasheem Biles is a hell of a call. I think he's going to be one of the most outstanding transfers this year. Right, Jim Thorpe Award winner, DB. Who have you got for best DB in the country?
I've got KJ Bolden.
Oh, you've not! Oh, no!
It was a toss-up between him and Coy Perich, but I'm going with Bolden. Like I say, I think this is the year. He's had a good freshman year. Like I say, he's a good sophomore year, coming in as a junior. I think this is the year where it all comes together. When the Bulldogs need him most, trying to reclaim their place on the top of the mantle. I think in his draft-eligible year, it all clicks and he becomes an absolute havoc in the run game, coming up in the box and taking the ball away on the back end. I think he's going to be a menace in all facets of the game.
That's gimmick infringement. You know KJ Bolden's my thing. I can't believe you've done that. You've gone and taken him, and I haven't, which is even more upsetting. But the fun thing is, you actually did mention the guy I have taken. I've got Coy Carp. I love him. Coy Perich at Oregon, safety. I obviously wanted to pick KJ. I picked KJ for this award last year. He had a really good year, but obviously Caleb Downs went top 5 in a draft. So when a safety does that, then, well, not top 5, but he went very high in the draft. And when you do that, your odds of winning at safety are quite high. But Coy Perich for me is going to be on an Oregon team where that defensive line should force a lot of wayward throws in his direction. A lot of hurried throws downfield, a lot of airmail for them to pick off. I'm not sure KJ Bolden is going to get as much at Georgia because, the DBs traditionally there don't get as many opportunities because the D-line just get home and murder the QB all the time. So I've got Coy Carp from Oregon going out for defensive back award. But I like how we've both picked playmaking safeties. We are thinking along the same line there. So I hope it's KJ Bolden. I love KJ Bolden, and I want KJ Bolden to be the Lions' first round pick next year. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm really hoping he does. But as I mentioned, Caleb Downs won it last year. And we were close. You had Dylan Tyneman, who could well have been the pick there for that, and I did have KJ Bolden last year, so we are roughly in the same ballpark. So we got him wrong, but we weren't too far off. Okay, we've got place kicker now, Lou Groza. Who have you got for the Lou Groza?
This one's always hard to toss up, but this year I've got Aiden Burr from Georgia Tech. He was pretty much perfect in extra points, kicked a very strong percentage last year, has got a good over 50. He's very good from distance. The 40 to 50 yard kicks, he basically makes everything that he's supposed to make. He's got a good leg on him. He's very important when they need him. I think the Yellow Jackets are going to rely on him heavily this year because they've lost a lot. Like I say, it's going to be a tough bounce back year potentially needed for them. I think they're going to rely on their place kicker in clutch moments to make big kicks, and he should be one of the guys that's probably more than likely going to get a couple of NFL looks next year.
There you go, Aiden Burr of Georgia Tech for Lou Groza. Me, I'm going down the tried and tested. Transfers who go to Michigan from smaller teams generally do pretty well when they go there. I've got Trey Butkowski, the Michigan kicker. He's a transfer from Pittsburgh. Very good kicker for Pittsburgh. Obviously, they just had the Arkansas State transfer there last year, Dominic Zavada, who we unanimously picked to win it. He didn't, but he had a pretty good year. But I'm thinking the next kicking transfer to Michigan because I don't believe in Michigan this year. Their quarterback is making some worrying comments about the team and his state of mind and how he views this and whether he's actually committed to that program or not. I think there's going to be a lot of stalled drives. I think there's going to be a lot of field goals, a lot of opportunities for Butkowski to really put himself in the shop window there as far as the NFL comes. But he was a great kicker for Pittsburgh. Obviously used to kicking in the elements, that part of the world. So I think he's going to do just fine there in Michigan. So, yep, Trey Butkowski for me wins the Lou Groza. We've got the George Munger for head coach next. Now, I've guessed this twice. This is my wheelhouse, so I'm going to see this year. But who have you got for the George Munger?
This one is really hard. But
yeah, it is.
It came down to two for me. Like you say, it came down to either Dan Lanning or Steve Sarkisian. And I'm going to go with Sark this year. I think Texas is primed to make a deep playoff run. And like I say, if he can get the best out of Arch Manning and get him out of his shell and make him look like the future first overall pick, then I think Steve will do enough to take this award home.
So you've got Steve Sarkisian. Was that right? It was Steve Sarkisian, yeah?
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, that's fine. Me, I have gone double deep on Oklahoma. I got Brent Venables winning this one, if he's going to win. So we've got for the one we've got winning the SEC, basically. I do think this is the year where, obviously, if Oklahoma win the SEC, Brent Venables is going to win the George Munger. No questions asked. So, yeah, I'm kind of just double downing on a take that I've already got there. But I've picked it a few times. We'll see. Picked it when Caleb DeBurr won it at Washington a couple of years ago. So we will see what we've got there. And then the big one. Who wins the Heisman, Ryan?
I feel like I'd like to say a non-quarterback, but I'm going to have to double down on my Davey O'Brien, Dante Moore. I believe he leads Oregon to a national title game, falls short, but shows why he is in fact the true number one pick next year, and decimates now everything that's put in front of him, commanding them with leadership, poise, a big arm, and proving he can make every throw in the book. Like I said, that is also about having maybe a less than stellar run game. I think he's going to have bigger pressure on his shoulders, and he's going to have to take more command of an offense this year than other teams in the Big 12, Big 10 that will have better, quick running games to help them out.
Yeah, all right, there we go. You've got Dante Moore. I've actually got him as well. I know I've got Keelan Russell winning my Davy O'Brien, and generally the two go hand in hand, but I do think this has to be Oregon's year where he makes a statement, Dan Lanning does, and his quarterback's going to have to be the one who helps him do it. And if Oregon does well, the quarterback will get the love and he will get the Heisman. So I think it's a bit of a no-brainer that Dante Moore is the one who's going to win it. So we are aligned on that. I think it's the only one we're aligned on. So a little bit of difference there. I've just realised I've been forgetting to sort these out. So last year you had Jeremiah Love. You went for the running back last year to win it. And, I mean, where did he come in the end? Did he come fourth?
He came third or fourth, yeah.
He came third or fourth, so you weren't too far off. But obviously it was Mendoza who won that. So we got that one wrong. In terms of the Judge Munger, of course it was Kurt Signetti who won that one. You had Dabu Swinney, because we were both massively high on Clemson last year. Oh, no, that's a red. I had John Sumrall, who he did win the American, so, you know, I had my points there. And then the place kicker Dominic Zavada did not win that one, so we were on with that. So we didn't get a single one, but, you know, we tried. And it is a case of, you know, it happens. Right, we'll move it on to the statistical ones now. We'll make a move on with these because we're all making on for time. So, statistical yards, this is just who's going to get the most in the country this year. So, passing yard leader, who do you think's going to lead the nation at quarterback in passing yards this year, Rye?
Darian Mensah. His pro-style pocket passer poise with Malachi Tony, all the weapons, even with an established runner like Mark Fletcher, I still see it being a strong passing offense, and he is going to go hell for leather with the game of numbers to claw his way back into that high first-round contention next year. I think he's going to go all out to prove that he has got pro capability and he's not just a very good college quarterback.
Yeah, all right. We've got Darian Mensah there, and I'm going group of five. I have got Caden Veldkamp, the FAU hair quarterback, obviously grown up in the air raid at Western Kentucky. His offensive coordinator got the job at Florida Atlantic, took him with him, so it's the same offensive coordinator he's worked with forever. Easton Messer, his beloved target, is still there. I feel like Messer could probably be in the thing for receiving yards leader, but Florida Atlantic's style of play and the way Veldkamp plays, he's always going to be in this conversation. So I've got Veldkamp going up there to win that one. Last year, well, we definitely didn't get this because no one knew where he was coming from, but Drew Mestermaker won it last year. You went with Josh Hoover, and I went with Maverick McIvor, which both very sensible guesses at the time, but no one predicted that Drew Mestermaker was going to come out of nowhere last year. So that is that one. Rushing yards. Who's going to be the rushing leader this year, Ryan?
Oh, I think for me that's easy. I think it's K1 Lacey. I have really liked Brown ringing the dork, but I think K1 Lacey will be more important to Ole Miss than Brown will be to Texas. I think he is going to get an incredible amount of looks. I think Trinidad will take a step back this year and will be a more balanced offense. I think Pete Golden's going to want to establish the run. I think K1 Lacey is primed to have a non-QB Heisman year. I think he's the real deal, and he's just as good, like I say, and can match the output. He can do anything Ahmad Hardy's done in recent years. He's that talented, he's that young, and he's yet to have a serious injury, have much mileage on the clock, so he's primed to break out in the biggest of ways.
All right, you've got Keewan Lacey of Ole Miss. I have Star Thomas of UNLV. New quarterback coming into the building, a system where they like to run the ball, and UNLV should theoretically go crazy statistically on a lot of the weakened Mountain West. So I think he's going to go off for some considerable yardage this year. So I've got Star Thomas of UNLV there, and this might upset you a little bit, right? But last year, well, I went Dylan Edwards of Kansas State, and he got hurt very early and did absolutely nothing there. You went Ahmed Hardy of Missouri. And do you know where he finished? He finished second. Do you know how many yards behind first he was? 2 yards. He was
Yeah.
2 yards behind Cam Cook, the Jacksonville State running back. That is as close as you can physically get, whilst been incorrect. So you were so nearly there with that one. But yeah, Cam Cook just took the rushing title last year. Receiving yards. Who's going to be the receiving yardage leader this year?
I'm going G5. I'm going to the Pac-12. Bo Sparks, Texas State, top 10 receiver last year with 1,200 yards. Brings back one of the best G5 quarterbacks in Brad Jackson and one of the better offensive minds in JG Kinney. I think whether they win, lose, they're going to go hell for leather in the Pac-12 to prove that they are one of the best teams that's ready to make the jump into a P4 conference or other adjacent conference. And I think they're going to explode on offense. And he is a shifty receiver that can play all across that line, play every position, and can take command of that offense. And he showed it last year. There's no reason he can't do that or even more this year. I think he's going to explode in a big way like Danny Scudero did in recent years.
I love that pick. That's a great pick. I wish I'd thought of that one. But yeah, Bo Sparks definitely going to be in that conversation. Me, I've taken Wyatt Young of Oklahoma State. He is Drew Mestamaker's favourite weapon. And obviously going to the Cowboys, you know, you stick with who you like. And there are a lot more targets from there. There's some good receivers who've come in through the portal. But the first guy that Drew Mestamaker's always going to be looking for is Wyatt Young, and I expect that offense to be just as open and explosive as it was last year, and there are opportunities in the Big 12 to pick on some dodgy secondaries, so I have Wyatt Young of Oklahoma State taking that one. In terms of last year, you had Ryan Williams of Alabama, I had Jeremiah Smith of Ohio State. Two very good guesses in theory, but Ryan Williams had a bit of a down year. Jeremiah Smith had a good year, but not as good as a group of five player. Danny Scudero from the San Jose State Spartans took the reception yards leader last year, which just goes to show how hard these things are to predict. So, yeah, we got that one wrong. It was a group of five guy. Moving on, total touchdowns. That is someone that is rushing and receiving touchdowns, so you're trying to look for hybrids here. Who gets the most, or just a very good running back who gets a ton of touchdowns? Is this Keywan Lacey again, or have you got someone else for total touchdowns?
No. See, this is where I have. This could be a terrible idea. This is where I have Lenoris Sellers.
Oh.
I think he will do everything, run it, throw it, catch it. I think you have to get really creative with him. I'm hoping Nick Harbour has a huge year and helps him out, but if he stays healthy, I think he can be an elite threat in the run game as well. I think, yeah. I think they're going to be a sneaky good, the Gamecocks, but I think Sellers will live up to the hype this year, whether they win or lose.
Alrighty-o then, and I have gone with Bo Jackson, the Ohio State running back. They like to use him in the pass game. They use him in the rush game. I think he's going to really cash in this year, especially with CJ Donaldson and co. gone. He was that good as a freshman. What's he going to be like as a sophomore? Pretty good. In terms of total touchdowns last year, you had Blake Horvath from Navy, which was an inspired choice. It was good. He didn't quite get there, but that was good. I had Mackie Hughes. Again, Mackie Hughes really did me dirty last year. It ended up being Caleb Hawkins, and nobody saw that coming. 29 touchdowns for Caleb Hawkins last year. The true freshman out of North Texas. Yeah, none of us were getting that last year, so that is what it is. Right, sacks. Who have you got for most sacks in the league this year?
I'm going back to G5. If I say I'm going to Toledo, I think you know who I'm picking.
Oh, you're picking Andrew Zonk.
I am picking Andrew Zock, the more transfer.
Yeah.
I think the G5 guys, they're just primed to explode. They rack up sack numbers, especially in the MAC. Like I say, he had 11.5 last year. He's going to get a crazy amount of looks this year as their star pass rusher, and I think he's going to feast on the rest of that conference that generally does have a good job of producing very good pass rushers. I think he's going to have, like, say, 14, 15 sacks this year and just go wild. Even if the team's no good, that doesn't mean he won't have an absolutely stellar year.
That's a good pick, that is. I wish I'd thought of that one. But yeah, you're right. The group of 5 guys can really be the ones who go nuts. But yeah, Andrew Zog, that is a good call. Me, I'm going to make mile marker happy. I've got Anthony Smith out of Minnesota. I'm just, again, I'm really high on Minnesota this year. This is PJ Fleck's last chance for me. He's got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's got a good team. A lot of parts. He needs to show that he can make them more than a middling outfit. But Anthony Smith has been very productive his entire career. He's got TJ Bush on the opposite side of the line from him. So if it's not Smith, it could be TJ Bush. They've got really good defensive tackles. Anthony Smith can't be given extra assignment this year because they've got so much talent around the rest of that line and from the linebacker core. So I think Anthony Smith's going to get a lot of one-on-one looks. He's going to go back to that first-round consideration for Minnesota talent again. So I have Anthony Smith from Minnesota getting that. And then finishing it off with interceptions. Who's going to be the interception leader? Oh, sorry, I should just quickly say, last year's you had Mateo Uangalele, who, didn't have the greatest year. I had Kobe Stewart of Buffalo, who had a horrible year. It ended up being David Bailey. So, now in the NFL with the Jets. Interceptions, Rye. Who've you got?
Cheating here. I've got 2 players that will lead the nation. But I've also predicted how many they'll get to try and get a bonus point.
Okay.
And I'm going to make someone very happy here because I've also got a golden gopher.
Oh.
Leonard Moore and John Nestor will lead the nation next year, and they will have 7 interceptions each, and they will be the leading interception receivers, I believe.
There you go. Leonard Moore and John Nestor there. I'll accept it. That's fine. If it's joint leaders, then we can take that one. So, but yeah, Michael Nestor could be a good one. So we got a few Minnesota players knocking around in here. Me, I have a returner from injury. I've got Jontez Williams of USC. USC's defense known for being leaky. Teams love to throw on them. Jontez Williams loves to pick off errant throws. He loves to ball hawk, and obviously injured last year, but his Iowa State days, 5 interceptions his last fully healthy season. I think he's going to be a very sneaky pickup. You saw what Bishop Fitzgerald did for them last year. Obviously, he's been playing a bit of safety, a bit of corner. He can play all over that defense. He's going to get plenty of opportunities to take the ball away from people. So I got Jontez Williams. I'm quite happy with that. Right. All that is left to do now is sort out the playoff teams. So in no particular order, give me your playoff. Give me your playoff teams.
Good, because I don't have them ranked, but I've got the teams. So my group of my 12 as it is, my group team will be UNLV. I think they'll be the standout G5 team. And in no particular order, I've got Indiana. I've got Texas Tech making it over BYU, but they don't make the title game. I just think the Red Raiders hold a lot of weight with the committee.
Yeah.
And I think they're darlings. Ole Miss, Georgia. Texas A&M and Texas. Houston, Miami, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Ohio State. I believe that's 12.
That's buggering me up there. Just go from Texas again. So I've got Tamu, Texas.
Houston, Miami, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Ohio State.
Miami, Notre Dame, Oregon,
I think
Ohio State. Yep.
BYU will have the same record. BYU will make the title game because of a head-to-head or a tiebreaker, but I think the committee will like Texas Tech more because of who they are.
So I'll try and match mine up with yours. So I've got Oregon, I've got Houston, I've got Miami, I've got Oklahoma, because obviously I've got Oklahoma winning the SEC. I've got Notre Dame in there because they're crybabies, and they'll let them in this year. I've got Texas as well, so we've got a few in there. I've got Georgia. I've got Ohio State, Georgia. Oh well, I'll sort these later because I've got a lot to type in. So we've got Ohio State. I've got Indiana as well. We seem pretty aligned on these actually.
Yeah.
I would say Indiana. I've got Alabama. Oh, I've got Alabama in mind, not Ole Miss.
Alabama.
I've got Alabama making it. I actually have UNLV as well. So we're actually
Like
only
different
two.
teams. So you've got Oklahoma and Alabama. I've got Ole Miss and A&M.
Oh,
Other than
and
that,
I've got one more. I've got one more absolute wild card here. I've got one more from the Big Ten. I'm gonna do it. Mile marker. You're gonna see playoff football this year. I have the Golden Gophers making it into the playoffs. I am that certain on them this year, winning enough games. They're going to finish just outside of title contention for the Big Ten. But I've got Minnesota been the absolute fairy tale story and sneaking in. And they're going to do it on the back of Drake Lindsay and how much people are going to start crowing over him and how good he is. And they're going to force him to sneak the Gophers in. They're probably going to be the 12th seed. But I do have Minnesota sneaking in there over some better teams. So that is my hottest of hot takes. Minnesota in the playoffs. And you can hold me to that. And PJ Fleck, I'll never forgive you if you have a bad season. So overall, we are pretty aligned on there. So I'm interested to see. Now, there's just two questions left, Rye. Who makes your natty? Not who wins it, who makes it.
Texas and Oregon.
So you have a Texas and Oregon natty. Don't know why. Bold you. Get in the middle. Me, and I've just thought about this again and again and again and again, and I'm struggling, but I have Miami making it back. I just think there's too much talent on that team to keep it away. I think they will win the ACC and they'll go the distance this year.
Miami and Ohio State are my losers in the semi-finals.
And this is where I'm stuck between, because I don't know. I just have this feeling Georgia's defense is going to carry them so far. I think one of the SEC teams is going to be close, but I am going to have. Oh, it's tough. I'm going to put Oregon in there as well. So you've got Oregon, Texas. I've got Oregon, Miami. Who wins it?
I have Texas winning.
For me, I can't believe I ever thought I'd say this. I have Oregon winning it. I just think this is the year that team has a lot of talent to it. And it just feels like this feels like the Ryan Day year. Because I used to hate on Ryan Day. And I used to feel justified in doing that. But he eventually got to the point where he worked in spite of. And he was able to... Hang on, gotta get our screen back up. I just think, yeah, he's going to be able to get over the board with it. So... Yeah, I didn't think I'd do this, but I have an Oregon title winner there. And you've got Texas. In terms of how we did last year, I'm not going to go through the whole 12 playoff teams, but we both had Clemson in the Natty game. You had them with Texas. I had them with Penn State. Jesus. I had Clemson winning the Natty. You had Texas winning the Natty. So... You're going for Texas again. Is this a case of this is your last year fully believing in Sark? If he doesn't do it this year, is this going to be the last time you ever bet on him like this? Or
Yeah, they'll become Ole Miss. I'll write them off if they don't do it this year. They've upgraded. They've got Cam Coleman. They brought in Rasheem Biles. They've added Raleek Brown. They've added firepower at key positions. Like I say, they've got Gooseby. They've got a true pure tackle. They've got talent everywhere. Like. It's now or never.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm feeling, after all this, I'm feeling good. These things are so hard to predict, but I think overall, you feeling confident-ish?
In my personal awards, yeah, the leaders.
Yeah, as we were a lot of red last year, going on the playoff teams last year. We didn't get many of them either. You got James Madison in though, which was you got the group of 5 team in, so you did all right. Pittsburgh to God, I didn't get many of the playoff teams right at all. That was rough, but yeah, it's all part of the fun. So there you have it. You can see it on the screen. Our full predictions for this year, everything from conference championship games, positional award winners, the playoff teams we believe are going, the Natty game and the Natty winners. Ryan has Texas, I have Oregon, and we are now married to those views this year, and I just feel dirty thinking that I've picked Oregon to win this when, it just doesn't feel right, but it does at the same time. It is all part of the fun, but hopefully you all enjoyed that, and hopefully some of these come to pass. It is going to be good fun. As I say, there is just 17 days left before the season is with us, so we're going to see very soon some of these predictions, whether they come true or not. Let's just go through some of those bits there. Grandizer is in the chat. Hope you are doing well, Grandizer. Yeah, hope you're doing well there. Did Ryan cover his ASU Sun Devils yet? Pitchfork Cup? I don't think he has. We'll see if he will give us a little lowdown on them before the season begins. Yeah, Smile Marker, Gophers to the playoffs. Defensive line that can do it. Drake Lindsay, I believe in. They've got the running back that's healthy. I do believe it. I do genuinely believe it. I never make, I make grandiose comments on here, but I have, I do my research to believe these things. I may be wrong some of the time or a lot of the time, but, we don't do these things on a whim, but I think this could be the year. This could be the year they break through, and I'm hoping so. They've just brought in a lot of players that I love through the portal, and I think they're going to do great in Minnesota with all your homegrown stars. So there we go. Yeah, very cool hearing players from my team make your list. Absolutely, they're worthy of it. Anything else you want to mention, Ryan, before we get out of here today, in terms of the predictions or any other news or anything you want to quickly fall in before we go?
Curious, did you pick someone for the most important award, the Remington Centre?
Oh, we didn't do the Remington. It's not part of this, is it? Oh, is that a dig at the Seth McLaughlin thing, winning the Remington? I mean, I'd make Brent proud here, but Brady Small's in that conversation. But actually, I think if I was going to pick one, I'd pick Lalulu, because he's going to be on a team that's potentially going to make the Natty game, and he did have a lot of hype behind him last year. Although, actually, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say Houston's new centre, Anthony Boswell, the Toledo true freshman from last year. Yeah, Anthony Boswell, I think. That's my pick there. Who would you have for the Remington?
Spoiler, my pre-season watch team will include the Nebraska centre, Justin Evans.
So, okay, we can quickly talk about this before we go. It was, oh God, who is the guy on X, Pete Tamel, who does all the college football stuff? He was on a panel the other day. He put a video up, a panel of teams who are not to be underestimated, like teams who are going under the radar. And he actually said Nebraska, like Nebraska's his pick, and I'm like, are we doing this again? It feels like every year Nebraska are the surprise pick, the underrated pick, and they just...
They're a surprise team.
Yeah. But it's like, and I'm not going to dispute his knowledge. Like, he knows so much about this game. He knows people. Like, his depth of knowledge is insane, and I just found it fascinating that he still genuinely believes that Nebraska are dark horses this year, and that it could be coming to fruition. It's just, I don't see it. It's crazy. It's nuts. So we'll have to see. Someone also picked Wisconsin. I'm just like, well, they need to score first. Like, Luke Fickle's on the... I guess we should have done a hot seat thing. Who's going to be first to be fired this year? We can do that. I think Luke Fickle's got to be in the conversation for first to be fired this year. I'm not sure who else would be in a competition with him. Who else is on a really hot seat going into this year? Are there any one of the big teams? I feel like most of the big teams have replaced their guys. I'm not sure. Is there anyone on a hot seat? It's got to be in the Big Ten somewhere. It's got to be. Oh, well, that was fun. We didn't talk about that in the news. Purdue's new athletic director going, if you don't want to play for Purdue, you can go somewhere else and not win championships like Indiana. Because they're rivals. And it's like, really?
Yeah,
He made that comment. If you're not interested in winning trophies, go to Indiana. And you're like, there's that big natty banner there which reads 2026, mate. What's Purdue done in recent years? Nothing. Oh dear, you can't. If you're like a booster and you've just hired an AD and he makes a comment like that, are you not there going, uh-oh?
In the quote of the week, though, is Will Stein at Kentucky. When they asked him, why is your team going to win this year? And he just went, oh, yeah, to be honest, I think it's because of me. We'll win games because of me, and that's just it, honest. I will win Kentucky games this year.
Oh, I love it. I love his optimism. Like they are like a team.
I know what it takes. Where's Will Stein come from? What has he got a long history of winning?
I mean, technically yes, but he carries the same mantle as Dan Lanning. He came apart every time that he was asked to win a big game. The Oregon offenses were, they were good. I mean, I think it would probably be defensively their problems were, but they just made some bad mistakes in key moments. So, yeah. They could be good, though, Kentucky. Could. Don't know who's at quarterback now that you've taken Cutter Bowley, but... who did he take with him there? I'm going to have to look that out, so...
Kenny Minchie.
Oh, yeah, he did.
It could actually be a sneaky good quarterback, yeah.
Is that the old Notre Dame one, wasn't it? Kenny Minchie, yeah. Oh, it could be. The makings of a good team there in Lexington, but, it's just they've never been able to sort of realise it, and it's not very intimidating as places. If they were like in the ACC, I think they'd be a good team, but they just seem out of place in the SEC. Grandizer goes, Ryan, 6-year anniversary of ROTL UK and this college podcast, your thoughts? We've been going a year less. We started the pod a year after we started, so we've been going 5 years now on this, but nuts, isn't it? Half a decade doing this.
Half a decade, yeah. Probably 1,000+ hours.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, and watching, and you think all the stuff we've gone through, and all we've seen now. We've seen more than an entire class of players come through, like a recruiting class. We've done a full recruiting class's worth. They've come and gone. The recruits coming into high school when we started are in the NFL now. So I just find that nuts. You hear some of these player names and you're like, oh yeah, they were just a year. No, they weren't. They were 4 years ago. That's nuts. Like, Penei Sewell was in college when we started this. Now he's, like, on his way to the Hall of Fame in the NFL, so, nuts. Right, yeah, anything else you want to mention, or are you all good?
No, like I said, I'm excited now.
Yeah, I am. When it gets to prediction time, when you can do shows like this, you're like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's real. Like, you can do all the previews and stuff, but it's like, yeah, it's still a while away yet, but it's when you start getting to this point, it's good fun. So, as I say, we've got 2 more weeks to go before we get there, so it's come so quick. I think, a month after the draft, you start doing shows again. You think you've got forever to do it, and then forever turns into nothing, so... It's there sooner rather than later. Marmarker goes, congrats you guys, 5 years. Took me a couple to be a regular, but sure enjoy. Hey, we appreciate you, Marmarker. We appreciate all of you checking with us. We wouldn't be doing it otherwise. If the chat was empty, we would have stopped doing this a long time ago. So the fact that people out there enjoy it is the reason we carry on doing it. It feels like 25 years have passed, says Grandizer, because we do 5-hour shows. Hey, we're at 2:20 today, so less of that 5-hour stuff. We've done pretty well for ourselves. But anywho, we're going to bring this to a close. So in terms of future episodes coming up, we've got Jeff Risdon coming up on the main podcast next week at some point, so join us for that. The guys are live tomorrow for the Cincinnati Bengals Detroit Lions first pre-season game, so join the guys for that as they call the plays live on stream. I will be at work, but I will be shit talking on Twitter as I always do, so you can talk with me on there if you want to. I didn't get to the second part of your question, Grandad. Oh, will he host a stream with Matt and Ash? Yeah, it'll happen. We'll get it done. So we will get it done. Sorry, where was I? Yeah, main podcast, college podcast next week. We will be back, and it's one of our favourite shows of the year. It's our teams to watch for the season as we go on. So we put forward the players who we are watching, the ones we really like. You get to see our innermost thoughts of our favourite players, and we usually put some pretty good ones up there. A lot of these guys end up in the NFL. They come out of nowhere. You know us, we like our small school guys. We like putting attention on guys who don't have much on them. So we're going to be doing that next week, and we'll take a look back at last year's ones as well, see how they got on, to see, for continuity purposes. But yeah, it is mine and Ryan's teams to watch for the players to watch for the 2026 season on the next show, which is going to be good fun. And then we're going to try and fit in a couple more before the season starts. And very soon we'll have the week 0 preview as well, which is going to be good fun. We get to actually preview college football games again, which is going to be absolutely great. So, we got a lot coming up, so do stick with us as another season comes along. And I will start doing the play-by-plays for college football this year again as well. So if you enjoyed those last year, we watched some very good games together. I will make sure we pick out some good games this year, and we'll do some college play-by-plays, which can moonlight as Q&As as well. So, yeah, do join those. I know a lot of you did join in with those last year, which is good. Right, anyhow, we've got to get out of here. I've got to go to work in an hour and work the night. So just remains me to thank Ryan. Appreciate you. I shall see you next week as we look forward to our 2026 players to watch. Thank you, Marker. Thank you, Grandizer. Thank you, everyone who's been in the building this evening. We love you all. Have a great day, and we shall see you again very soon. One Pride, worldwide.